Boys, my dudes, what is up? Today we have a very special window tint job that we're going to be doing today. It is on an E-Class. We're going to be doing full ceramic on everything. This isn't going to be even the ceramic that you necessarily think, because we are doing all light ceramic. So this is going to be 50% all the way around, except for the windshield, which is going to be a 70. And then we are going to be doing a 70 over the sunroof as well. So this is a very, very nice job coming up. We got a lot of work to do today, and I totally forgot to set up my headset. Because if there was, there's always something. How are you guys doing? 2 seconds. Steven, Pablo, A. Garcia, Sean, Dom, how y'all doing? Yeah, the channel is going crazy right now. People like Walmart tint. That transition video from eBay is doing really well, so that's cool to see. I have a handful of more ideas that are going to be coming out soon. So tomorrow I'm going to be filming another video, probably with Amazon tint tools, and then following that we'll have probably some more ceramic stuff. Oh, you are guys, you're welcome about the glass aid. Oh, a little update about that for you, those of you that are here right now. Glass aid, hopefully, will be back this Friday. I know there was a hiccup in shipping, so I had some, and then it's coming. So should be this Friday. It's gonna go back in stock. So I just wanted to make sure that it's like gonna be here, and then I'll put it back in stock, and then those will stay up again Friday. We were up, me and my wife, we were up till like 1 a.m. shipping all those initial orders. So probably the same thing's gonna happen this weekend. Got my glass aid, excited to try it out. Hope you like it. You shipping today from other orders? Yeah, so a lot of, so there's a whole bunch of stuff that went out, we dropped off over the weekend, and then other stuff is going out today too. So yeah, it's just hard to keep up with it all, but we're doing our best. Appreciate it, much appreciated. All right, so we're gonna, because we got so much work to do, we're gonna jump into this. But yeah, this will be a fun one, for sure. We got a lot of prep work to do. And I should have got a haircut. This guy that claims 0% is black vinyl, but if you stack 5 over 5, it will equal 0. Am I wrong? Well, it'll still be a little, no, it'll be see-through. It's not totally 5. You're taking 5% of 5%. So if you keep taking a percent of a percent, it's technically never going to be 0. But eventually, you won't really be able to see through it. I heard glass aid ran out in a day. Yeah, I heard that too, unfortunately. By morning, it was all gone. You guys are nuts. And I appreciate it, but I was so stressed out because I want to keep it in stock. Let me make sure this is on. I don't think this is on. 2 seconds. Test, 1, 2, okay. All right. Yep, we're good. Yeah, I'm so stressed out about trying to keep it in stock. Just because I never intended for that to be the case. And then it's like, yay, it's finally back. And then I'm just like crossing my fingers that it'll stay. Because, you know, when you use it and depend on it, I mean, that's no good. I don't know what I'd do without it. When is it going to be back in stock? This Friday. This Friday it should be back. Is the mic off? That's really weird. Hang on. I'll restart it. Maybe it was hitting my glasses because these are different. Mic is horrible. Oh, God. What a way to start out an $850 job. It's fuzzy. See, I have my different glasses on, so there's a good chance that it was bumping. We'll see. Check. Oh, wow. No. No, it looks like 2 seconds. Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Better now? Yeah, it looks like that's better. Okay. Whoa, I've never had that issue before. Wow, that's a new one. I guess it wasn't the glasses. Looks like it's stable now. Better? Wow, okay, can we not have that many problems for this stream? Good God. So, yeah, so this is a full E-Class with a windshield and a panoramic sunroof. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done too. So the I had to unplug and replug in the USB power on it. You wouldn't know that that would be an issue. It's never been one before, but it was today. Go figure. So we got a lot of prep work to do. We're going to be taping this guy off. Do the perfect windshield on this one. That's the goal. Yeah, everything about this. Come on. There we go. So E-Classes are pretty straightforward too. I've done a handful of them. I don't think I've done a bunch of Mercedes. I just don't get E-Classes all the time. But they're very similar to a lot of the other ones. So you got little things to watch out for, like felt seals. That's always kind of a whatever. But then they'll put much nicer interiors in them, typically. Everything that you need to get to is pretty straightforward. So lots of room on the back. Be careful on the defrosters on something like this. You got an interesting cutout right down here, but most of the time it's just extra ceramic here, and it's a straight shot. Sometimes they'll put some little foam pieces there. Everything else is really accessible. So quarter windows, even the sunroof, everything's pretty straightforward to get to. Lots of room on this. We got a nice border that goes around like the camera. He just wants a really nice light ceramic tint job on this one, so that's what we're gonna give him. It was interesting too. So, brought up an interesting. It was interesting because it was interesting. Brought up an interesting topic because he's driving this back and forth to Ohio, and the state limits in Ohio is 50. So he wanted to do 50 because state laws, right? But if you put 50 over the glass, then it's going to meter lower than that. So we took out a meter, took out a couple of swatches, and really, if you put 70 over it, it'll meter. It metered at about 58 to 60. And then we put the 50 over, and it metered at about like 41, 42%. So the factory glass on this is about, it was like 79 to 80%. So I guess we should just say it was 80%. Just a little disclaimer there for you guys. If you know, put 20 over your car and you think that it's going to meter at 20, it's not. It's going to meter darker. But it's kind of a tough thing to always explain to every person. They're more going for like a particular look rather than a number. But in this case, because we were trying to go for a certain number, that's where that conversation got brought up. Good Lord. This will be a fun one today. Have you looked into Clearplex from Matico? What is it? No, I haven't. Sounds a little familiar, but I don't recognize what it is off of the name. Which tape? We're doing the high-end Lowe's tape today. What's up? Oh, you know. Just an E-Class today. Trying to keep up with everything else. How's the transition tint working? I know we're probably gonna have a bunch of people asking today. That video blew up over the weekend. So the transition tint, I have no problems repeating this throughout the stream. The transition tint is no longer on the car. It did actually in sunny weather go all the way down to 20%. It looks super purple. I'll have a YouTube post with a picture so you guys could look out for that. Just gotta remember to post it. But it had a really funny quirk. So every time it got hot, it would fade to clear. So you leave your car sitting out in a parking lot, you come back to it, and the window was clear. So I didn't see a purpose to keeping it on there. You know, good heat rejection. A little hazy, a little too much purple for my liking, but it worked up until it got hot, and then it's like, okay, so I just leave this in a garage, and then take it outside, and then if I stop in a store, my windows are clear. That's like disregarding how much of a pain that stuff was to work with too. So I already off of that don't even know if I could put it on a windshield. I'd have to order enough to make sure that you can like shrink it right, but. Yeah, the stuff was just was really fun, but unfortunately, there's always something. Clearplex is an exterior windshield protection film. Oh, okay. I've heard of stuff like that. I don't know if I can speak. I can't speak on Clearplex specifically. There was a really popular. Some people in chat will know. There's a really popular one. I think ExoShield was what I heard about. And I just haven't heard very good things. Like, it is windshield protection, but it's still, like, kind of hard. So it's just one of those things where, like, unfortunately, they ExoShield, like, a windshield, and then the guy, like, drove it down the road and then immediately got a rock chip. And then it's just like, that's it. You're kind of screwed. That would majorly suck. All right. Chicago Auto Pros just did one of those clear windshield, exterior windshields on a Tesla. Oh, I'd be curious to see what they installed. I think it would be a really cool option. So the hard part, like it really has its place in the high end, because most people aren't gonna spend, like, I don't know, 500 plus for windshield protection. They'd rather just pay to get a windshield replaced. But when you're talking about like some high-end stuff and then windshield recalibrations, that starts getting expensive really quick. So if you could like guarantee some sort of like damage protection too, that would make it more interesting. But I like that the exterior ones have the ceramic protection too. That's really cool, because then you could just do it on the outside. and then you don't need to worry about tinting the inside, not unless you want to go darker. Do you hear about Steck Film? I've heard about it. They're like, as far as I can tell, they seem like a pretty good company. I just don't have any experience with their films, and I don't know a whole lot about them. But they seem like a higher end company that I just somehow skipped my radar. They messaged me a while back about reviewing a film. I told them I didn't know. I didn't know how to do it. Maybe someday. Because, like, film reviews are one of those things that, like, I'm not even 100% sure how to do. I know most people aren't interested in specific film reviews. It's hard enough to get them to watch a regular YouTube video. Are the tapes there for when you cut? No, those are for, the inside ones are for installation. Do you like Avery? Yeah, Avery's a great film. I used to use the NR Pro and the NR. I preferred the NR. I was sad when they took away the cool name. I mean, they went from like Sigma Pro to NR. I'm like, what? Why? And then they put it in a brown box. I'm like, oh. But what was it? When I was first introduced to Avery, they didn't have NR. They had NR Pro, and it's got like a little bit of haze to it. It's kind of like this weird in-between where it had dye and carbon together. So the idea was that you get a little bit of heat performance, but not as much as like a pure carbon film. And it would keep it, I guess, a little more affordable, but it was still a little hazy, so I switched right to NR. Well, it seems like all the bugs are worked out, so that's good. They don't label their percentage, and it gets annoying. What? When I was using them, they definitely had labels on the, like, what? Is it like labels on the inside of the rolls? They had like how many feet were left on the roll. That was kind of cool. If you got the right roll. It's on the box. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, a lot of companies don't label the insides. So when you throw the box away, you forget? Oh, okay. That's why it's never been a problem for me. I leave the film with the box, always. I put it back in the box after I'm done. But I could see that. You gotta pencil them in on the inside if that's what you do. Yeah, I'd get my rolls confused so fast. I mean, even with them on there. So that's why, like, the labels are on the ends of the box. Film goes back in the box. And then they go on the walls. What's the tape? It's no name tape. It's nothing. You're not seeing anything because it's not in stock. It's Glass Aid. Cool. So we can do. Oh, we gotta do the windshield. I gotta stop doing windshields on stream. I get too many windshields. Man, I've had a handful of vehicles lately with no windshields. I was so happy. Don't get me wrong, I like having a windshield, but I also like taking it easy too and just not having to do one. So we gotta do the windshield and we gotta do the sunroof. And it's two panels on this one. So you got one bigger one here and one smaller one in the back. Thank you, Mercedes, for having clear or decent wide borders on that too. It's one of those little things that they probably don't realize that they do. That makes my life a little bit easier. Wow, this is close. What can we use? Just this little guy. Swipe that off so we can get some glaseade in here. It's real close. It's like a little rubber lip that almost touches that border. But it was just saying good things about him. Dang it, Mercedes. How many feet? Glaseade is 100 foot. So you can get about 10-ish back windows on it. They always seem to add up to about 10 feet. Or windshields. All right, we're getting close. Getting close to the good part. Look at that froth. That's some high-end tint froth right there. Might let that dry out a little bit. That's close. Give it a nice clean swipe, and we'll let it sit for a sec, and we'll tape it. All right, so those we can put there. Whew, looking forward to the Amazon tool video. Are they really that bad? We're gonna find out. Glad to hear it. I was on the fence. I was on the fence of making it tomorrow. So definitely doing a video tomorrow, but I'm like, I don't know. It's that YouTuber instinct. It's like Amazon Tint Tools is not going to do as well as like the transition film. So I'm like brainstorming videos that are going to do similar right now, or that have like a similar intrigue to it. So the tools portion is probably going to appeal more to like, obviously, window tinters, where what was cool about the transition film, it had a lot of broad appeal to it. And it hit that YouTube recommendation wave, which was super cool to finally see. Nothing beats a good old traditional YouTube entertainment video. I can live stream, I can do all these crazy things. Nothing works like a regular YouTube video does. Just so what's been cool about that though is like, okay, if the channel starts doing well like that, then it means that I actually have to put some extra time into videos. So tomorrow, I scheduled tomorrow. We had an appointment and he moved to Wednesday. So I have Tuesday free and clear to shoot a video, and I blocked it off. So that is going to be getting done. That is going to be shot tomorrow, and then I have all week to edit. Does YouTube pay enough for the work that's put in? Amongst all the videos now, yeah. We were just talking about doing the same thing tomorrow. We were going to do cleaning and servicing your tank instead. And yes, we were going to be using clips from your tank videos. Oh, that's totally cool. You guys could still do the same thing. That's totally okay. I'm going to hit a much different audience, I think. Whatever you guys want to talk about, don't worry. So, but yeah, it doesn't have as much broad appeal. Like, what's been super cool about it though is that basically over the last couple days, all the numbers have like, the graph is this right now. It was going like this, pretty steady, and then it started to do this, and then it went. So with the live streams, with the extra videos, and then having a good solid video that I put some effort into, that is keeping some momentum right now. So when you get a little breather, little momentum wind, you do everything you can to keep that up. Like Bitcoin. Yeah, so expect a horrendous crash afterwards. You don't know when it's gonna come, but just enjoy it while it lasts. Any tool belt? Yes. Avery Dennison. The Avery Dennison tool belt. You can find it from Sun Distributing. Ah, come on. That's so crap. 1 second. Sun Distributing. There you go. Tool belt's in that link. You can check it out. I've had it for like 3 years now. No. Longer. I don't know. It's been a while. Looks a little dirty, but it holds up. It's such a good belt. Are you double layering the film? Yes. Yes, so I double cut a lot of my windows, so it saves a little bit of time. You get 2 patterns for the time of 1. Just don't mess up, or else you waste film. How much do the rolls of tint normally cost? So if you're interested in like pricing for it or to get it yourself, you can get it from Tint Stuff. mytintstuff.com. I don't have the pricing for the film rolls publicly listed, but that's where you can find out. We make it easy. Oh, you're cleaning the top edge now? Yeah, because I never thought to do that. If I have a blade that seems like it's skipping, I never thought that that might just be some extra grit up there. So I'm gonna see if that creates a nice clean top edge. That cut out really well, because sometimes we've looked like just a total noob trying to cut that out. Whatever helps. Where can I buy your ceramic with heat lamp display? So the heat lamp, that's Tint Depot. Really? Tint Depot. Oh, come on. Don't let me down now. Tint Depot. Oh, I think I'm saying 10 Depot. Oh, we could change that. But it's right there. All right, hang on. I got to change this really quick because this has gone on for too long. Didn't you used to work for Sun Distributing? I worked for their tint company. I never worked through their distribution. I watched them come up and to where they are now. Tint Depot. Really? Whatever. We got to come up with another word. Maybe we just got to say depot. I'm trying to link it for you, but you can get it from tintdepot.com. It's such a clean heat lamp display. So you can get the meter. I would highly suggest getting the meter too. You can get the meter and you can get the heat lamp. Home Depot. That's why I don't use their film. I've told them this though. I love them. They carry good film, but they brand it as Tint Depot, and that's the only thing that's got me. It's like, man, if I'm selling a job like this, and they go, "What film do you use?" and I say Tint Depot film, that's the only thing that's really got me. Like, I don't know about this guy. I mean, he knows a lot about window tint, but I mean, if he's going to go down to Home Depot to get his film, then maybe I should go to somebody else. But they have good film. It's legitimately good film. It's just under that brand. Branding's important. So most of the time, like, if somebody's just coming in for a tint job, most people don't ask. It's when you go up into the upper echelons that that branding can really start to matter some when somebody just, you know, they're spending a lot more money or they start doing a lot more research. So I've always felt like that mattered. It won't make your tint business, but it's something to think of. Matt is a big part of how he became a distributor. Oh yeah, I could tell that story. I installed a lot of film, but so did a few other people. Let me try it one more time. Tint Depot. Hey, there we go. Okay. So that's where the heat lamp, that's where you can find it. So, yeah, it's kind of funny how that all came about. So I was working at my dad's place. Shout out to Auto Tint City. They're not my brothers over there though. I'm just gonna say that. We had a conversation last night, but anyways, so I was working there, and then I was looking to kind of do something a little different, and then I got a phone call from Rick, who owns Sun Distributing now, and they had a mobile tinting company called Tint Squad. Like, there used to be a joke along with that. I totally forgot now. But anyways, so we'd run around. This is why I know a lot about mobile. We would run around from company to company, and they would load up a day for us, and then we would knock out cars, and if they didn't have a full day, then we'd go to another store. We would all hardly ever see each other for the most part, unless you really needed support. So you could like call and be like, hey, they just slammed me with work and I don't want to turn it away. And then if somebody had, you know, some free time, they would have backup support come out, and then you could knock out the rest of the day together. So that part was pretty cool. But for the most part, you'd never see each other. You'd run around. You'd make a good amount of money. You'd tint a bunch of different places. Sometimes we'd hit up 4 or 5 different places in a day. Sometimes it would just be one place in one day. Sometimes you'd have to go to somebody's house and tint it out of their garage. For the most part, though, we whittled it down to stores. And that seemed to work out the best, because a store that has lots of clients coming in for, you know, audio accessories or glass or whatever else, it was usually a good fit. They would also get window tint, or, you know, they just have enough of a client base that they could get window tint jobs. So, you know, even if you had to fix something, you run out, and then they could maybe get you a couple more jobs that day instead of just wasting all your time on a redo. So we were doing so much volume that our rep was just like, you should just, oh, what was it? No. So the rep, or the film company, was having a hard time supplying us because we were ordering so much film. And then it would take forever. They would be on back order, and it's like, look, we're just like whipping through film. So Rick took it upon himself to go get a slitter, and he started just slitting down the rolls himself. He's just like, fine, if you can just get me the rolls, I don't want to wait for them to be slit, I'll do it myself, because you guys are totally incompetent. And from there, the rep was just like, man, you guys are moving so much film, you could just become a distributor. So then he started in the distribution world. But what I really like about Sun Distributing is he's very interested in the different types of tools that come out. So they're always on top of it. They don't need to wait very long for something to pop up on their radar. They're usually like, they see a new thing and they're like, all right, that looks like people will be interested, that looks like I'd be interested in it. We'll pick it up and we'll be the ones to get it from. So they always have basically everything that you could possibly want, and if they don't have it listed, they'll get it. So that's why I really like working with them. So they're good people. Been a long time. Known them for a long time. Took them a while to come around to the channel because, you know, when you work with somebody, it's like, But it's been a really good fit. Plus, they came out with the kegs. So the kegs was a fun addition to the whole thing. I think that makes them really unique on the distributor side of things, because there's like some keg makers or builders or whatever, and they kind of pioneered it all. What's the camera stand in the back? Where? Like over there? That guy is just a monopod with a stand. I think I bought that one off of Amazon. Look up monopods with like legs on them. I like that it's got a really low footprint and then it goes straight up, so it'll weeble wobble a little bit, but you're not tripping over it when you're walking by. Oh dang!
Daniel Rayner super chatted $19.99. Good
Woo!
morning, Kuya Matt. Kulu Star Grandmaster Matt.
What's up, Daniel? Thank you. Thank you for the 20. Good morning, Grandmaster Matt. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. How you doing? I just realized that I don't think I have a piece of software open, and I'm opening up that right now. I was looking for one, but GoPro doesn't sell tall ones. No, not that tall. I don't. It's this guy here. That's exactly what it is. So a lot of these like unique camera things, you can find those on like Amazon. That's a good place to get some of those like obscure things. Super shattered, exactly. How do you get rid of those hard specs on back window without a razor blade? If you have hard specs on the back window, and it's not in the tint, then you have to use a razor blade. So you can use a razor blade on a back window, just don't scrape the defrosters. So you just be careful in between them. But if it's something like weld splatter, then that's a totally different situation. Because I had a handful of black specks like on a windshield and on a back window before. Pretty uncommon, but it does happen. But is there an adapter to go with the GoPro? So most cameras use a 1/4 inch thread mount. So GoPro, there's definitely GoPro adapters that would screw right into that. So check for that. I don't know exactly what it's called, but I believe the small ones, like there's 2 different sizes. Most cameras, like, so if you go and buy like just a point and shoot or a DSLR, it'll have like a 1/4 inch thread on the bottom, and they're all the same. So you're just gonna need a GoPro to 1/4 inch thread. GoPro's got the weird adapter. There's a super inconvenient thing on the side. It's annoying. How do you figure out your pricing based off hourly material, based off competition? I kind of figured it out based on just general market rates. I've been around to a lot of places doing mobile tint, seeing what other people are charging, and then usually that's a good place to kind of start. But it's there's no clear-cut way. But generally, you know, especially when you're new, people are going to be shopping around, so they'll get an idea of what pricing is out there. You don't have to follow the norm, but you do have to try and stand out. So I don't suggest price competing, but being competitive with good upside really helps, or with a good way to stand out. Don't seem to get 100% off 30. Don't seem to get 100% off. Oh, that's just worded weird. No matter how much I clean. So you're going to have specs. I mean, maybe it's because you're newer. There's always going to be something that you could nitpick in a tint job. You could try, like, your water and stuff. If your water's dirty, though, you would definitely see, like, a pretty even speckling throughout the window. Like, 1 or 2 little ones is not uncommon. I have the 9, so it's not like what's on the bottom of a camera. Yeah, I have the 8. It's not what's on the bottom of a camera. All the GoPros. What I was saying was you're going to need a 1/4-inch thread, and then that's going to have to go into the GoPro adapter. So I'm sure they're littered all over Amazon. Just look, tripod, camera, GoPro camera adapter. So this is like what's on the bottom of most cameras. So there'll be something that screws into that connects to GoPro. You'll be fine. Used my keg from Sun Distributing yesterday. Came game changing for me. Oh, that's cool. That's super cool. Glad to hear it. The kegs are awesome. I've got this. What was I saying? Like these are what I used to use, and now I'll never. As soon as I started using keg, yeah, I'll never switch back. Oh yeah, this is what I was looking for. I ordered the plain felt card a day or 2 before you came out with the logo one. Aw, I'm sorry to hear that. We sent, orders, as soon as they came in, we were shipping out the new ones with orders instead of the plain ones. But shoot me an email with, just do a reply to the My Tint Stuff one. I'll ship you out one of the logoed ones. They feel bad. There's always something with those changeovers, though. Any tips on how to aim a Frankenstein? I've never heard it said that way. It's like getting the Millennium Falcon into the back window. I mean, you're holding it like this, so it's not spread out all the way. So you should be able to mostly get it without touching the sides. And then you can wipe off the sides if you're getting extra crap. But it'll have like a little give to it, so it kind of folds in a little bit. But try that. Or just keep that in mind, wipe the sides off too. Good God, I tell you, keeping up with chat today, you guys are on fire. Use XPEL and it's pure ceramic. XR Plus gives a little bit blue shade, and they said the pure ceramic does have a blue shade. Is that true? I've heard XR Plus has a blue tone to it. Not all ceramics do. So that brings up an interesting thing, though, because they're gonna, a company's gonna try and make a film look as good as it can, and the technology is always improving. There's different color tones with every film company that you get, and it's a little unfortunate that we can't pick that. So when you buy, as installers, we search companies, different films, and then they have different lines of films, and there's usually good pros and cons across the board, and it's hard to find a company that has the perfect everything. It's always like there's a little drawback. So, or something that we don't quite like. So color tones is one of those things where it's just we have no control over. So yeah, I believe XR Plus does have a little blue tone. Some people like that and some people don't. Every film's got a little color tone to it, though. that we can't pick. It's just kind of like, these are the films that we have available, these are the shades, and then whatever they look like on the cars, whatever they look like. We can't change that. So I'm supposed to get Apex in, which has a 95% heat reduction, so I'm really curious to see what that looks like. XR Plus is worth every penny. That's good to hear. Most, like, it's, this goes into like little subtle differences, but most of the time, whatever research you do, whatever ceramic you pick, you're probably going to be really happy with. Try not to get too bogged down with like specs and stuff. Just like, the real trick is going with a company or an installer that you want to go with and trust that whatever they're installing is good stuff. Because at the end of the day, like, it's more the installer that matters than the film. Like, I know you live with the film on your car, but you also need a good installer, so. We've got to get these edges close. We are just taking it easy. Blue Max, yes. Blue Max today. Ooh, this is close. I like that. That looks good. That looks really good. Is there a BCM to cover? I haven't had any problems with one of these, so I'm gonna say no. It was the C class that some people are having issues with. $850 is a lot for a Mercedes. Well, it depends on what you value. So we had a, what was it? An Altima? No, it wasn't an Altima. It was a Nissan Sentra or something like that. That had a, what'd they get? They got ceramic. It's all just, you know, like, I've had plenty of people with these cars that go, no, I don't want to spend that on tint. Or with nicer cars. People with nicer cars can be some of the penniest pinching people you've ever met. They probably spent it all on the car that they're driving. Or maybe that's how they got the car that they're driving. So introduce your films to everybody. You never know what reaction you're going to get for sure. You can have like a little tint sense about it, but I mean, I was shocked. I had two people that came in. Over the phone, I asked if they had any particular films that they were interested in. And they go, no, I didn't even know there were different films. They brought me a full F-150. We did carbon. They brought me, after that, we streamed, it was a white Nissan. And we did ceramic. And it surprised me. I had no idea. I figured we'd do standard on both. But it was back-to-back. Nice jobs. So that's what's so cool. Never sell out of your own pocket and never just prejudge people. Figure out what they're looking for. Do your best to introduce it to everybody. I don't know how many times that bit me in the very beginning. I mean, there was a Tahoe that I streamed, and I just like, I got so, they were getting like the front doors, and then they decided to get the full thing, and it was like a 21 Tahoe, and I was so used to people just saying, oh no, I'll just go with your standard, that's fine. I was like, okay, no problem. And then so I just got out of the habit of showing people in the very beginning. And the next thing I know, I'm streaming, And then the guy's wife was like, hey, he mentioned that he didn't talk to you about other films. Are you cool with the film that he's putting on? And the next thing I know, I'm going back up front. We talk about carbon and ceramic, and then I had to pull the front windows off, and we did carbon on the full thing. It's just, you never know. I remember when you did that, Tahoe, you had to redo the two. Yep, there you go. After that, I mean, there's probably a few times where I didn't in the wintertime, but man, I don't want to make people feel pressured into getting a better film either. So that's one reason I'm a little cautious on even, on always bringing, I just always felt awkward bringing it up, because it's like, you just kind of assume they didn't have the money for it, or it was already stretching the budget or something. So I never wanted to make people feel bad that they weren't getting ceramic on their car. That's not the point of it. But I make it a point to definitely show everybody now. Because then the other spectrum is maybe they feel like they missed out because you didn't show them. That would suck too. I'm not a sales guy though. Not like that. Have you had any kitchen nightmares type of cars? Nothing comes to mind right now, but I mean, I've definitely damaged a few cars. I mean, years ago, I've broken 2 windshields and a back window. But, I mean, shoot, we did a Ram on Saturday, and then we just, we messed up the door. Cutting out the door 3 times in a row, I think. And that felt very kitchen nightmares, where I watched a good amount of that show, where they're trying to cook the scallops and they just can't get it right. The scallops are raw. That's my horrible Gordon Ramsay impression. Wow. Yeah, one sec. I see it. Look, I'm trying to catch up with you guys. You guys are just on fire right now. Oh, cool. Thank you. Was hidden. No, do a hard ban. Remove. Canon. Sorry. No, we're good. GoPro. Shit. Oh God, I'm all sorts of confused. GoPro. Good God, I'm sorry. This generally goes pretty well, but it's a bit of a juggling act. So I try to, this is a legitimate car that needs to get tinted, and then I'm trying to broadcast it so you guys can see how this works. Every once in a while we have hiccups. You know, those bots, they mean that we're hitting some sort of mainstream. So we might need, I know my wife is helping out right now in the background. If you see something like that, go ahead and block them. Just do a hard ban right now. No mercy. Because yeah, when you start breaking past a couple hundred viewers, that's when you start getting all sorts of weird stuff. Cheap, red flag. If you can do a good job, then use ceramic. My 45 years of input. Tell your wife I said hi. Okay, we'll ban you too. Time out. That's how this goes. Like I said, ruthless today. Are there any cars that you tell customers that you can't do? Yeah, actually. So I had a guy call today on a Beetle, on a classic Beetle, and I didn't turn it down, but it brings up like a couple of things. So that one I had to look up. I don't specialize. I just say it like this. I don't specialize in classics, so I have to charge accordingly for it. But sometimes on those, like they're restoring the vehicle and they can pull the glass, and that changes things a little bit. So that's what it looks like we're gonna end up doing. But I got to try and find some special colored film for it, and then we're gonna tint it out of the car. So every once in a while, yeah, there'll be like I had a guy ask about it, like a '66 Mustang, and I'm like, oh, it looked beautiful, and I'm like, all right, this is what it's gonna cost to do it. It's gonna cost a lot. I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time, and I'm probably gonna have to do it off stream. But yeah, it wasn't far off of me saying like, I don't know about that. What's the plastic? Yes, everybody in chat, thank you. Carpet shield. We said in the Walmart video too what it is, but so I use that along with a line of tape to help keep a lot of water off of the door panels. The carpet shield kinda doesn't stick well to like half the different door panels that I do. I don't know, sometimes it works really well, sometimes it starts falling off. So you need something with a little extra stick, and that seems to be like this acrylic tape. It works really well. It's a house wrap type. Peels clean, sticks well. If it stuck anymore, it probably would start leaving adhesive behind. Door panels are just a really difficult thing to get things to stick to, believe it or not. Vintage Mustangs have stainless trim too. What's that mean? Oh, like around the windows? Like they have that old school framing with like the dart, yeah, and then just like dirt wants to like pour out of it. That's whew. Interesting you say that. Have you considered having a dual stream? I've been running a dual stream, actually a triple stream for the past year. So it's on Twitch as Tint Stuff. My brother actually just reminded me. He thought I was still Tint Stuff. I'm Tint Stuff on Twitch. I totally forgot. But the Twitch crowd is so like non-existent for my streams. YouTube is like where everybody hangs out. So I was doing it kind of as an experiment, and just because like I'm not looking to be an affiliate or anything on Twitch. Shoot myself in the foot for locking that down. So I thought it was a good thing, and it's not a bad thing, but it doesn't seem to do much. But I also stream to my my Facebook group. The Window Tint Stuff Facebook group is awesome, by the way. So if you guys have more questions and I'm not streaming, the Window Tint Stuff Facebook group is a great resource. Lots of tinters. I think we just passed 30,000 members in that group. Lots of tinters, and you can actually post pictures and like ask for real world help, that type of stuff. It's cool. Twitch seems more for gamers. Yeah, it definitely is, but it's very, very non-discoverable. So like nobody is going to discover you off of your live stream. Very few people do. You need to do something very unique or catch people a different way and then send them to Twitch. And I'm like, well, why would I send them to Twitch? I like YouTube better. So I was just kind of seeing if Twitch was going to maybe feature some different types of stuff other than gaming and like diversify. I really thought that Twitch was going to try and diversify. What's the Facebook group called? Window Tint Stuff. Lots of big egos in the Facebook group. It's actually gotten better. /tinternet. It used to be called Tinternet. There's a link for it. there used to be big egos like on every forum group. I mean, I go as far back with starting YouTube videos as 2011, and boy, did they hate me. So there's a forum group on a website called tintdepots.com, and then Facebook kind of made that place more of a ghost town. And it was like, if you posted a picture of a job, you'd get ridiculed in ways. Like, it was so crazy. And then that picked up on Facebook, and then I was just so tired of it. I mean, that's one reason I had my my YouTube channel in the first place. My YouTube channel, and I started my own group because I was just tired of it. It's like so many people would kill conversations. So like there's like the handful of people that are just like keyboard warriors, and then there's way more people that watch and aren't a-holes about a lot of it. Discoverability on Twitch is non-existent? Yeah, for sure. Like, Twitch is cool. It's got its own place. But it always seems like I want a platform to kind of work for you in a way, or at least give you hope that there's a good future there. Because if you put all your eggs in Twitch, or you grow an audience on Twitch, and then like Twitch just kind of falls off, then you're kind of stuck. It's the same thing with Mixer. So like YouTube has proven to be just a powerhouse on video for a number of years. So I got a little bit lucky with video on that. But I also just kept streaming on here because I'm like, well, that's where my people are. Like, why would I try and push them to another platform that I don't know is even going to survive? So Reddit is a dumpster fire. Reddit has some good. It's very like quick memes and stuff like that, though. That's hugely popular, and it's entertaining for a while, but man, I get too busy. I am following the super stonk crowd though, so that's kind of fun. But I got a bunch of other stuff I have to do, like stream people's cars. Good stream, man. But yeah, if you're gonna start streaming, I highly suggest YouTube over Twitch. But you got to make video. You have to figure out how to make video in that too. Do you ever tint 90s style Toyota pickup? Not in a long time. If I have, I couldn't tell you if I did honestly offhand. I've done like a handful of old trucks, but 90s is just kind of something I don't get a ton anymore. Usually they're people that aren't willing to spend very much money. Do customers know that their cars are being streamed? A lot of the time, yes. I tried to tell everybody, but sometimes it skips my mind. It's been a very good thing for business. It took a while for that to kind of happen, so even in the first 6 months, I didn't hardly notice anything. But we've been doing it for about a year now. It's not all my leads. Like, regular viewers know when I get cold calls, I'll get people that are like, hey, I'm interested in getting my car tinted, how much? And then I run through it with them, and they're like, oh, okay, I'll call you back. And then I never hear from them. Or like, hey, man, can you get me in today? Like, I still deal with a lot of it. Why do some states put the tint limit so light? Because they're dumb. No, I don't know why they range so much, but they just do. Michigan state law is nothing on the front doors except the top 4 inches. Same thing with the windshield, unless you have a doctor's note. And it's been that way just for a long time. There was a point when it was under review, but it never actually changed. Yeah, some states are like 70. New York, Pennsylvania, those are like 70% states. Even Florida. Florida has, like, we actually have it pretty good here. So states that have like a legal limit on the front doors sometimes aren't so great, because then they break out a tint meter. So on sedans in Florida, it's like 30 and 15. So that's cool that you can, like, you're fine to drive around with like 30%. But then if you want to put like 20 or 15 on your fronts, then you could potentially get metered for it. And then the same thing with the back. Like, that to me just kind of is like, really? There's legal limits on the backs of a sedan, but there's not on like an SUV? That's so goofy. So, I don't know. I think I picked this up to shrink that back window, but we're going to hold off on that for a minute. Let's do that quarter window, and then we'll pull the plastic and then keep working our way out around. I live in Hawaii. Oh, that sounds nice. Big island, and it's too common to see 90s Toyotas pickup trucks. Probably because the weather stays much nicer there. Like here, a lot of that stuff has rusted away. We have like as much salt on the ground as we have snow sometimes, so those things get rusted away. So if you're down somewhere where there's not a lot of salt on the roads, you'll have like older vehicles for a lot longer. I think if you go down south a lot more, you'll see that. Michigan doesn't like old vehicles. It rusts them away, and our roads are terrible. But also, like, I'll say this, when you price yourself a different way, you'll just have different vehicles. Tell you, the mid-tier luxury sedans, that's like where my sweet spot is. I think we're inching up here and there, but like, man, so tinting out in farther east towards Detroit a little bit more, and being cheaper, I would get like a lot of early 2000s cars, just like older Tauruses, Crown Vics, stuff that generally is just not super exciting to do. And then when went up to like the 240 range, that's where a lot of that just disappeared. They're like 199 and below. They don't want to spend much on their tint jobs, and they'll give you hell. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I just don't want to deal with them anymore. Sweet. And then every once in a while I'll get one, but it's usually a really long time, mostly around tax season. I wish you could do my car, but I live in the UK. That'll be a little challenging, yeah. I appreciate it, though. I'm a detailer. How did you go about advertising when you first started? I did what most people did. I did Facebook. We messed around with like some Google advertising. I think one of the best things that you can do is Google My Business. So if you have like a physical location, Google My Business is really powerful. Keeping your Google My Business busy is really important too. That'll help out a lot. Facebook was like, man, I can't tell you how many leads we got that were just a waste of time on Facebook. But like Facebook can be a great place to advertise, but there's just so many people there that want to waste time. That drove me crazy. They just and it was over messages too. So they message us, and then they would ask 50 questions, and then they would just disappear. And the people that would actually book with us were generally, what would they do? They'd be so quick about it. Hey, I got this car, how much to get tinted? You tell them the price, okay, cool. I'm there. And that was it. And I was and so you would almost know right off the bat whether or not you actually had a client or you had somebody that was wasting your time. But you didn't want to be rude and not answer those questions. But man, make a detailing video. Yeah, so if you want to get into the media side of it, that's also like a huge thing. Dude, I can't tell you how much bigger detailing is on YouTube than window tinting. I'm sure some of you guys have seen channels like Stouffer's Garage and The Detail Geek. My God. Though some of the most lazy looking videos in terms of like filming it, but man, the idea is get as disgusting of a car as you can, and then people just love watching it get cleaned. Oh, oh God. That happened right when I pulled it, so I thought something else happened. Alligator!
Alligator window
Man's just
tint
skipped my
super chat
question.
at $4.99.
Hang on, I'll get to you.
Cents. It also depends if you're running ads to build brand or get business. Both are important but very different.
Alligator with the 5. Thank you for that. It also depends if you're running ads to build brands or get business. Both are very important but very different. That's true. So building brand is just getting in front of people's faces and not expecting a result. But impressions, that's really important. And then, yeah, getting business would be different. Thank you for the 5. Gabriel, I missed his. I got you, man. How much would you charge for a back window on a Honda sedan? I'm just curious because they charge 80 we're at. 80's okay. I'd be up now. Like, it wasn't uncommon for me to charge like $100 for a back window. But now it'd probably be, like on most, it'd be like 150. I just charge like 130 or 150, like starting. That's where like windshields are at. So if it's, the thing is, you like, you know, like why you're charging 150 for a back window, but then you're going to charge like 240 for the rest of the car. Like there's a little bit of bundle pricing there. So if you're just going to take up a spot to like bring it in, then I got to prep it for the one window and then kick it out. So there's still time and setup and everything. So when you can just kind of keep going with like the doors and the back window, it's more like bundle pricing there, but yeah. Yeah, 80's a little cheap, but definitely not uncommon. Shoot, I tinted at places that were like, man, they would yell at us. Just ask Sun Distributing. He knows. They would yell at us about like, oh, we can't charge any more than $200 for this car. And then they still wouldn't get work. And it's like, man, you just suck. I mean that in a nice way for people that are charging like below 200 too, by the way. There's like, so most of us are like auto guys. We didn't have any formal sales training. We're just kind of figuring this out as we go. And like when it sounds expensive, it sounds expensive. But the more you learn as you go, the more you realize that like a lot of existing salespeople, they're just lazy. So the norms that they set don't have to be that way. They've just shot themselves in the foot. When they try, man, they can be on fire. I saw a sales guy that just like fell off the edge of the earth. It was so sad. He like came in, he had a fire, and he was happy, and he would sell things left and right like you wouldn't believe, and he would keep you busy, and then just something happened, I don't know, and then he's just like, yep, can't get over 200 for a job, which we're too expensive. Comes down to this, if you think you can't sell it for more than its price, then you can't. That's true. You gotta kind of take yourself out of it if you can. And it's hard, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. And then it'll become one of those things where it's just like, it becomes the norm before you even realize that that is more of the norm. So you just gotta kind of shoot there. But you also, like we were talking about a little earlier, you have to differentiate yourself or stand out in a good way. So everybody, like just think of what everybody else is doing. When somebody calls, they're asking for a price. Most people just, they answer the question and they hang up the phone. So look, I'm literally live streaming a customer's car. Like very, very different right there. But even if you don't want to live stream a customer's car, try and keep them on the phone longer. Try and ask them what they're actually looking for. Create a conversation, show that you're different, and then you can follow up with a Tint Whiz proposal. Like, good God, there's so many other things that you can do besides just like the calls that you get and just like short conversations. And then also the people that you have in the shop, those are really important because they actually came into your shop to get the work done. So you want to do whatever you can to impress them, and then they'll be some of your best referrals. And you never know who is going to be a solid referral for you or not. I feel like we can trim this just a little bit on this side. Make everybody feel special. That's important because they are. All your clients, doesn't matter if they're coming in for just a basic tint job or an $850 ceramic job. We treat them all like we tape them off. We treat them all the same. There we go. What percent for this car? So we are doing 50 on everything except for the sunroof and the windshield. We're going to do 70 on those. Make everybody feel special, just like on YouTube. I try. If I skip past your question, it's because I'm often talking, and then so I try and listen for all of them. But when it's really busy, I don't hear every question. I try though. So when somebody was like, "Hey, skipped right over my question," might surprise you. We'll get back to it. You should get a plotter. We might be. And then chat's going to freak out. Because I'm very cynical towards plotters. Because software sucks. It just got brought up at a really funny time. Yeah, so the main reason I don't use a plotter on the doors is Matt loves the plotter software. Plotters can be incredibly inconsistent, and that drives me insane. So there's an awful lot of garbage patterns out there, and you don't know until it's on the car. So you have to cut it out, you have to weed it, you have to shrink it, you have to prep the window, and then you have to install most of the pattern. And then you finally know towards the end if the pattern's going to work or not. So no fun at all. So if the patterns work, cool. If they don't, but with the extra time that we have here, it also gives me that much extra time to try and make sure that the job turns out that much better. So hand cutting, no matter how you slice it, is going to match up that much closer versus a plotter cut. Anywhere you can tuck the film in, so primarily like on back windows, quarter windows, some windshields, if the pattern lines up, like you'll be totally, like you can, those you wouldn't be able to tell a difference. But it's really in that top edge that you can tell a difference. What's the last time you used the plotter? Tint Squad? No. Yeah, no, it was my dad's shop actually. Auto Tint City. They're more like a high production place. So they're like just trying to get 7,000 cars out every day. So they need that support there. And that's what they're really good for. You have somebody run the plotter, and it's just like your plotter dude, and he runs around, puts them on the cars, weeds them, and then the good installers can focus on installing. And then the guy that's running the plotter, he can practice when it's a little slower. But that's a good system. Do you still do tint competitions? I went to the one before the pandemic. There we go. Car shut off. The can you give us a close edge of the top? Yeah, on the next window I can. I just rolled this one up. On the what was I saying? Yeah, competitions. I went to the international one, and then there's like some newer tinter battle one. I haven't been to it, but they're going to be in Florida this year or this coming year. Might be able to go down for that one. It sounds fun. It also sounds like a good excuse for a Florida vacation. So, you know, early in the year, go down south. Yes, please. Dang, that's awesome. 10 rolls, 5 green shakes. That's cool. I know there's something else in there, but I forgot. What's the fastest you think you can tint a window? So fast. Like a door window, you can do start to finish in like 10 minutes. But I'll usually take longer than that. Full car, like without a windshield, I shoot for up to a couple hours. If I stay focused, it'll be like an hour and a half. And there's room to speed up from there, but I just don't want to anymore. I don't really have a need for like trying to put out a bunch of cars every day. The bot is back. Take care of it. Bots evolve. They get smarter. Let's see. What is it? Oh, there we go. Okay. Should be gone. GoPro. What do you think? About what? It's a pretty open-ended thing. Yeah, so the Facebook group is having the same problems with bots. There's just when you pick up that kind of traction, it's like they get smarter and they evolve and they're there to spam your group. And they'll never stop. So I've never had to think about putting mods on this channel, but we might have to if this trend continues. Because one every once in a while is not going to bug me, but if it's constant, then we got to do something about it. I mean, seems like this is the threshold for it to get out of hand pretty quick. I'm going to have to give Nick another job. Are you located in Detroit? I was born and raised in Oakland County. Yeah, I'm in the Detroit area. We're out towards Sterling Heights, or in Sterling Heights, not towards. Detroit's just the closest major city. Yeah, Oakland, I grew up in, shit, isn't that Oakland? Oakland County too? Farmington Hills? So I worked all over Redford, Livonia, East Point, Clinton Township, Waterford, Pontiac, Berkeley, all those places, and more, Rochester. What's the liquid I'm spraying? It's a mix. It's pretty straightforward. It's about a quarter baby shampoo. Oh, no, sorry. A quarter Dawn, about 3/4 baby shampoo. So that works really good for this film. For a lot of regular films, you don't have to do it like that. You can just use baby shampoos. Harrison. Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I was Farmington High. I was part of that 3. So there was Harrison, there was North Farmington, and there was Farmington. We were Yeah, I was actually living in West Bloomfield for a period of time. Crazy. I'm like one of the few YouTubers that's actually in Michigan. I swear, they're all in like California or Florida. I'm jealous. Try and do a collab. Oh, yeah, no, not gonna happen. Am I the only tinter? Yeah, this is my place. This is my big old warehouse where it's too much space for me, but I'll grow into it one way or another. So I used to do this at my home for like 4 or 5 months ago. No, it was longer than that now. It was October last year. God, we're all the way in August. Time goes fast. Much longer than 4 or 5 months ago, but not quite a year yet. So yeah, I was trying to do this from my home garage, and I really liked it because it was just it was just at home. You just walk out the door and you're there. And then I would schedule 1 car a day. I'd stream it from home, and then somebody had a hissy fit about it and called the city. So I had to figure out something. And finding somewhere that was relatively close that also had a garage was really difficult to do. There's plenty of retail that has no garage door. There's very little retail that has a garage door. So so this is a lighter shade, so this is a little tougher to kind of see the top edge. We got this one like stupid close here. This one looks really, really good. I'm very happy with that one. So that's kind of the difference between like hand cutting and what a plotter can do. So plotters could get that close, but they're one size fits all. So what's going to happen is some of them are going to be just a little bit farther, and some of them that are just wonky are just going to be all sorts of messed up. So with hand cutting, you always know what you're going to get every time because you did it. You sized it to the window. Plotters, you're crossing your fingers, cutting it off of a machine, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But if the software is good, if there's good quality control, that's different. But we're going to explore the wonderful world of plotters here soon enough. Because it's about time. I don't want one like to use on a daily basis, but we'll explore the world. How much does a plotter cost? So it's kind of hard to say because there's levels. You can buy a secondhand plotter for like usually about $1,500. I think that price point's starting to drop a lot, but the good plotters are going to be $5,000 and up. Like the traditional good plotter. So I don't know. I think I'm getting like a cheaper one to see kind of like if they can do something similar. I'm really familiar with them. I've used them for a long time. I just haven't used it lately. All the software's let me down. We'll talk about them soon. There's so much interest though. GraphTech is the best. Yeah, GraphTechs are really good. Roland's another one that I'm kind of unfamiliar with. But Vinyl Express and GraphTech are what I really knew. You used to... Oh, yeah, so my shrinking style for door windows, yeah, you're right, it has changed. I do something called snapping now. But now you can just curl and then a little bit of that. I learned that from somebody else from another shop. I didn't pick that up on my own. Used to shrink the fingers individually, but snapping seems to hold a lot better. What? Hey! Good Lord. Waiting for it to pop up. The fog machine's got it well ahead of time. Cannon. Cannon. Are we good? Where is it? Yep, there it is. Wow, that took a long time to pop up. What's up, dudes? Washington. Washington with the 5.
Washington Correa super chatted $5. How much would you charge for a 08 BMW 328i send and puss a Sunstrip?
328i. That would start at 240 plus an additional 50 for the strip. But do you really want to do the standard? You want to go carbon. Carbon would be 320. Still 50 for the strip, though. But the strip's going to be regular. Thank you for the 5. You know, I just realized that was in Super Chat form. That's a really interesting question to ask through a Super Chat. Thank you. But yeah, it would be 240, 320, or 450, plus 50 for the strip. When you're going to make stickers? Oh, I got to do stickers. I keep forgetting. I do squeegees. I mean, come on now. I do squeegees instead of stickers. I mean, look. We got this guy. Why you want stickers? We want tools. Tools that we use. What was this? I've been in... Oh, okay. No, I wanted to see this comment here. I saw your video about transition tint you bought on eBay, but I bet it came from China. It definitely did. If you need me to find the source, I've been in China for the last 12 years. Whoa. Whoa. That was the wrong button, too. Where's my... What? Why are you down here? That's weird. Okay, what I really want you to find would be like super cool. I don't need the source for the transition film. I just assume a lot of the like Chinese films are kind of garbagey because they have been. Like they make so many different types of films, so it's cool because there's like chameleon films and transition films and like they push the boundaries. But they're pretty notorious for fading or failing in some spectacular way early on. So consistency is always the hard part. But if you could find me some electric tint that actually, like electrochromic tint or PL whatever tint, tint that when you put a current through it, it goes clear, and then when it's off, it's not cloudy, it's still like dark tint. That would be super cool. I want to make a video with that. Wish we could send pics on here. Why? The Facebook group. You can do that there. You guys are scaring me right now, though. What did I miss? What happened? Wow, somebody just blew up my chat. All right. I just walked away. Oh, good Lord, what? Good. I'm wearing my birthday suit right now. You know, in the grand spectrum of things, that's not super offensive, I guess. I don't know. I thought it was like way worse. It is definitely too much. But that could have been said like so much worse than what he did. I was ready for the band hammer, but that's all right. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I thought it was way worse than that. So there's not much to be said about this back window. It's a pretty regular back window. If you use Telegram or WhatsApp, private message me. Shoot me an email, Matt at Detroit Tint Studio. And then, because finding something like that, you definitely, like, yeah, having a person over there would be really beneficial because I have no idea. But yeah, Matt at Detroit Tint Studio. I really want to find it. Like I said, some electric tint because I want to make a video. Electrochromic tint. I've got such a good title for it. I can't tell you guys though, but I have such a good title for it. It's one of the few videos where I actually thought of the title first, and then whatever happens in the video is just whatever's going to happen in the video. I got some other good ceramic ideas. A lot of it came from the comments in my last video, so thank you. Is this a new felt card? What happened to the old this happened. Ooh, what is that? I had to. Oh, I still have it. I still kind of prefer the old one because it's worn in. Like I said, they get better with time. It's sitting over on my box. I still have it. I'm definitely not getting rid of it. Maybe I'll make a video. Maybe the video will be why this disgusting card is still amazing. I don't know. So this guy. This is what these look like after you've been using them for like years. They get better with time though. People wanna rag on me for my old card. Get out of here. They're better. Most tint tools get worse. Felt cards get better. Yes, they get gross looking, but whatever. We're burning all that bacteria away. They age like fine wine. Yes, sir. Man, do I have to do the sunroof live too? I was gonna stop for the sunroof. I was, oh my god, the crickets are back. I walked in here this morning and it sounded like a forest. Just don't put the felt card in your mouth to hold it. I have to. It's like the quick hold. Knives, felt cards, tri-edges, hard cards, all of that. It's not gonna explode. You guys, some of you are so paranoid about sunroofs. Like, somebody said it online, and then, like, nobody can prove anything. And then there's like, shops that do hundreds of sunroofs every year, and then a couple of people say something and everybody panics. I've never had a problem with it, so we're still gonna do it until we have a problem. That's one of those things where it's like, I hardly ever get them, but I certainly wouldn't not. Like, I did my own sunroof in the same ceramic, so I'll be okay. Have you used the Geo Apex? Not yet. That stream should be Thursday. As far as I know, it's on its way. What's the problems with stuff? There's no problems. It's hearsay. I don't want to perpetuate that. There's no problem. You can tint them. You'll be fine. For whatever reason, you're not fine. If you have problems with it, then document it very closely and then don't do them. But other than that, like what? You look at potential risk to reward there. Maybe I'll have an issue eventually down the road with the sunroof, and then I won't do them again. And then in the meantime, I'll just keep doing them until I have a problem. And then you will have made far more money than you have ever lost. And then if you ever do have an issue, then you can adjust accordingly. But I certainly wouldn't do that. I would not do it off of hearsay. I've been tinting since 1989, and I've never had a problem. Well, there you guys go. Do we have anybody that can go farther back? Farther back, come on. Farther back than 89 and not had a problem. Let's keep going. I can't tell you the number of tinters I've had that have never had issues, that I've had issues of though. But thank you, I appreciate that. Most people, see what I mean? Most people hear that tint have never had problems with sunroofs, so you'd be okay. "11 years strong, never blown up a sunroof." Boom! See? This is what you guys got to keep in mind. If most people are telling you that it's not a problem, then don't worry about it. If all of a sudden chat freaks out because I'm tinting a car and they're like, "Oh, no, not that one," then okay. I'll listen. It's 1976, never had anything. There you go. Is a full ceramic all around truly worth the cost? It depends. You can go with, so it depends on if you want like the best heat rejection. And even at that, you can go up from there. So there's plenty of ceramics that'll be cheaper, or shops that'll charge less for their ceramic, or because they'll use a lesser ceramic, or they just don't price themselves right, or they use a cheap one. So it's completely up to the person that's getting it installed. It's the same thing with getting a fast car or a nicer car. Some people, they're good cruising in their, what can we say, in their PT Cruiser, which I think is just a horrendously offensive car. But some people like that car. So there's always something for somebody. So you can still get a very good tint job and be very happy with your film and it not be ceramic. Ceramic is just kind of like the best of the tint world. So for some people, yes, it's absolutely worth it. And for some people, no, it doesn't make any sense. Imagine you soak those Benz seats, you would be paying a fat bill for those. The fake Mercedes, the fake leather. Sorry. We're doing the sunroof, so we may soak them. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to soak them. We're still going to put towels on them. Some people are happy with their 4-cylinder Mustangs, and some people like their V8s. Exactly. Same car, right? Cheaper. Why wouldn't I just get the cheaper one? It's got more oomph. That's a good. I like that one. Because of the oomph. You get more oomph out of ceramic. So if you're into that oomph, then you'll do great. Okay, who stole my side swipes? I don't know where I put them. I might have to grab one off the wall. But those are for display. I'm not supposed to do this. I guess we're going to have to do this. I have so many of these, and I just lose. I don't know where I put it. I put it somewhere. What's the Facebook group? Window Tint Stuff. It's super original. This channel used to be called Tint Stuff. So always wondered about the green tool. Oh, I'll show you how helpful it is. Slash tinter net. So the link is tinter net because that's what it used to be called, but it's actually window tint stuff. There's a link for it. I don't think it lets people link on YouTube, so I'm happy for that. Yeah, so the green tool. Yeah, I'd be happy to show you. This thing's awesome. This is called the whale tail. Right? That's what it's called. There's two versions. There's a yellow one and there's a green one. Just ignore the yellow one. It's not helpful. So the green one, it's really flexible. And you're going to use it at an angle. Tail fin. Thank you for clarifying. This is called the tail fin. See, that's why we keep Sun Distributing around in chat. Because they're like Stop calling the tool something else. Tint tools have really weird names. So like this is called the Stroke Doctor. Because strokes. Anyways, so we are going to, oh Jesus. Maybe we're just gonna call it the tail fin from now on. So let's squeegee all that out. Oh God. Chat's telling me the true meaning of a whale tail, and I wish I didn't ever say it. I believe there's actually a tool called that, though. Sun Distributing, you guys can verify. It just looks different. I think it's like clear with a handle or something. So I'll show you a little bit more once I put it in here. You guys had a field day with me saying that, though. So we're gonna spray this off. God, the number of comments, man, I that one was special. But don't worry, this is gonna go on the inside too. So if you've never seen this happen before, this is gonna go on the inside. We don't care it because I think it's stupid. You know, that makes me happy. All right, so we're gonna just glide this in here as cleanly as possible. No reverse roll, not on the back glass. We never do it on the back glass. Maybe in an alternate universe. We always reverse roll the windshields, not the back windshields. All right, so let's get this in place. And then we'll talk about the not the, what was it? Tail fin. We'll talk about the tail fin. God, now I'm gonna confuse that next time, and I can't. It's too much. I was gonna carry it, but then I thought it was dumb. Maybe I'll give it to you. Yeah, so we could show it on stream. A censored stream, right? With a tint tool. Okay, so we're just squeegeeing out all the water that we can, and where the tail fin is very helpful is towards the bottom. So there's a few bottom tools here that are really handy. So one thing that I use is the side swipe. This has a nice flex to the blade, so you can just put it at an angle and get most of that water out. So a lot of times that's what I'll do here. This brake light kind of gets, there's a good gap there, but you kind of have to really shove the tool down there for that. So you can either use what's called a bulldozer, which is like a big paddle tool that I think I forgot to bring in here that I usually do. Or you can use something like this too. So this will go in at an angle, and because it's got a nice flex to it, it'll curve really well to some of those tighter spots. Usually like the corners, but in this case we got that interesting brake light down there. So we're just gonna squeegee across the bottom a couple of times. And then if everything went right, when we go to clean the outside off, it should be clear and all locked down. So that looks pretty good to me. Where's, there it is. Looks like air 80. It's 50. We're using 50 on everything except for the windshield and the sunroof. So we're gonna do 70 over those. Because the sunroof is already factory tinted 20%, so he doesn't want to make it any darker. The windshield, he just wanted it to be as clear as we could get it. Spouting. Oh no. Okay, so you guys, the way that I hear comments is text to speech, and I hear emojis the same way that I hear text, so some of them are really funny. The whale there is legitimately spouting whale tail. That's what it said. I shouldn't have said that, because now that's all we're gonna have. Freeze time. Yes, after you scrub the windows, then you spray them with Febreze. That is also the new thing that we do. We now use Febreze. Some people are going to be so confused. I don't know. I was watching this guy tint windows, and they were like Febreze and whale tails. Like, dude, I don't think this is for me. There it is. Spouting whale. Good God. Oh no. Alright, I gotta put this disclaimer on it. If you spam 500 emojis, I have to put you in timeout. I'll let it slide, but it'll legitimately slow down the rest of the chat an enormous amount, so we can't have it. It's all good. Please let me go. I don't want to read these comments anymore. A few is totally fine, but if it's like nonstop, it'll be ridiculous. It keeps smelling good. Who cares how it looks? What? Can you see if you got an email? I can check a little later. Just hang out on the stream. I don't have much time to check much else other than do this job right now, but I'll check it afterwards or towards the end. Probably. Dang, this turned out good. I'm happy with it. So what did we do? We actually got all the sides. We did that quarter window? Yes? We did? Yeah, we did. Okay, all the sides in the back. Now we got the windshield to do. Oh, and I'm so dumb. All right. So, dumb mistake on my part right now. When I went to prep the car, I totally forgot to prep the windshield on the outside, because that should be dry right now. But it's not even ready to go. So I gotta figure this whole mess out, and then I'm gonna prep the windshield. And then I think I'll just jump right into part of the sunroof while that's doing some drying. Are you hiring? No. Maybe in the future here. This is all weird for me. I didn't start this to make it into like a crazy tint shop. So finding and training tinters is a lot of work, and it's very time consuming. It works way better if you don't stream. So I'm gonna have a hard time trying to scale up into a regular tint outfit, but we'll do classes before anything though. Hiring an assistant would be the first thing to do, and then start trying to work them into tinting. Here's, again, with streaming, it's really challenging because I don't want them in the stream. Like, I don't mind if they're, like, in the stream, but, like, part of this is all start to finish. So I don't really want to have somebody, like, doing part of the work. I just kind of, like, it's all me doing the work. So for right now, all the teaching would be like outside of the stream. And then if it makes it challenging because then you're only like partial days. Where if you're training somebody full time, you just load up your schedule and then they're just helping you on everything. But if they're only helping parts of the day, it's a little bit more difficult to manage it all. What is the tape? Glass Aid. It's out of stock. It should be back in stock on Friday. I finally get to at least say that much. That Black Magic Haze was cringy. It was. Oh man, I was so surprised from that. That was ridiculous. I was genuinely a little nervous because why don't you use this film? Because it's bad. Well, do you really know? Have you tried it? Well, no, but I'm assuming. So you don't know until you really check it out, right? But like, there's a lot more to it than just it looking hazy. So it's like, okay, let's put it on the heat lamp and see if it really blocks out a lot of heat. And then all of a sudden it outperforms my best ceramic by like a pretty decent margin. And I'm like, okay. There better be a clear example pretty quick. Turned out to be exactly what I thought. It was hazy. But now if I did that with their dyed film, the dyed film wouldn't look hazy. It's all a matter of like, is it gonna last? So out of those films, if you're actually gonna go to Walmart and pick a film, just buy the cheap dyed film. But the problem with the cheap dyed film is that they fade. But that's gonna be could be over a couple months, could be over the course of 6 months, could be over the course of a year. You just can't trust them long term. So as a business, I'm definitely not gonna just pull that stuff in and put them on my customers' cars. I gotta do something that I know I can rely on. So that's why I install the films that I install. It's a much harder thing to illustrate on camera though. Like, oh, it looks the same, so it must be the same. It's like, no. But that was a very clear-cut demo. Heavy curtains. Heavy curtains would be great for heat rejection. 100%. What shade? Oh, we're doing 70 and 50. What's your favorite quality ceramic? It's probably soon to be a new film that we're going to be getting soon. It's new film that we're soon to be getting soon. Wow. Oh, God. So it's going to be a geo film, but they have a 95% IR film that we're going to be getting in here soon. So if you guys think this film is expensive at $850 for the whole thing with sunroof, the 95% heat rejection film is going to be more. So that's really going to be for the people that just like have FU money that don't care. Most of the time. It's just going to be like, yeah, I just want the best film, I don't care. That's who that's for. This almost didn't look like glass because there's like that layer of dirt. And I just feel like I'm scrubbing into paint, which I would be horrified if I was. It's all glass up there though. 95%? Mm-hmm. So like what's the difference between 75 and 95 is like, you know, there's that, it's like buying like a high-end car and then buying like a supercar. That's the difference in the tint world. I don't even know exactly where the pricing is going to be at. I just know it's going to be expensive. That's another thing that's kind of hard to figure out. $20 difference, but it's probably going to be, I don't know, a good amount more. More than 20% more expensive. Because it has to be, because the film is more expensive. Like, that's just kind of how it is. So whether or not it's worth paying for that is totally up to whoever's getting it done. $1 million. Then we can retire. We can retire off of one job. I mean, you only got to do one job if you can sell it at $1 million. Well, I guess then you're living on 100 grand for 10 years. That doesn't actually sound infinitely amazing. Then you got to sell another one. How are you guys doing out in Hawaii? That sounds cool. My one question about that was it always seemed like you would have a very limited clientele, but I know one of the biggest tint companies in the US is out there. You'd be at 700, 750 to 8 for everything but windshield. Funny you say that. That's kind of like where it's playing with it on price. I'm like, that kind of makes the most amount of sense. It's egregious, but it's okay. It is what it is. I'll start with that. We're going to start at those prices, and we'll see what happens. TNT? Yep, actually, that's who I know of the owner. I've never talked to him. He just he posts here and there in the Facebook groups or something. He's the big kahuna on the island. I'm gonna give you a high five and a pack of gum. Thank you. Oh, is that for the Corvette that we're doing? Doesn't that deserve a little bit more than a high five? How about what is it? A venti mocha. Give me a venti mocha that day. Actually, we got to do the back one. Why did I put that away? Venti mocha and we're square. See, what's really cool though, man, it's really cool to have this opportunity. So Geo is sending out some film for me to play around with on it. So we're going to be playing around with it on a C6. Or else sorry, Nick would have to pay a bunch for it. But we'll have to buy it for future jobs. They're just sending some for me to play around with. So we're going to put it on his car. And what's interesting is we got to actually shrink the back window with that stuff. You should let me come in and shrink the back window with the fusion heat gun. Yeah, we'll have to do that sometime. I don't think for the vet though. I don't know. I haven't thought that far about it. New to this channel and loving it, just a filthy casual hobbyist. Hey, that's awesome. I don't care. Glad to have you. That's super cool. Anybody that the whole one of the biggest purposes of the channel is it's my full-time job, but one of the things that is really lacking is reasonable explanations on the differences between some films. So some of it sounds like snake oil. If you just cold call and yeah, we got this carbon, we got the ceramic, we got this this dyed film. And it's people don't really know the differences. So this channel, we have fun with some different films because I think that you have to have a broader idea of what's out there on the market. And it gives people a healthy perspective on if you're interested in some of the little differences between them all. It's oh, okay, that's why I wouldn't want to do that on my car. Because it'll cost you more money in the future. And then you can't see out of your windows. But, there's no shame in definitely going and playing around with stuff like that either. It's all part of it. So whether you're a hobbyist or whether you want to do this professionally or whether or not you are a professional, everybody's welcome here. Or just a filthy casual viewer. It's all good. All right, look at that. 60 lines up. Like, other professionals that don't really understand what's going on here would definitely laugh about, like, why would he waste his time installing Walmart film? Of course it's garbage. It's like, but how? What, like, my general customers wouldn't know that unless I showed them. Like, your customers wouldn't know that unless you showed them. They can take your word for it, or you can have a clear-cut example of it, so. I like it. I like messing around with. Good God. Aw, that was a really nice super chat.
Mental Carries super chatted $20. That eBay transition tint film was wild. Especially appreciate seeing products tried out. Keep it up.
Aw. Mental Carries, thank you so much for the 20. That's big. That eBay transition tint was wild. Especially appreciate seeing products like that. Thank you. Thank you so much for 20. That was a big one. You're very welcome. It was a very long journey to get to a place like this where I could do stuff like that. But what's fun now is I have the ability to literally schedule a day where I can mess around with stuff like that. So tomorrow, we're going to be messing around with Amazon window tint tools. So I'm going to be shooting a video on those, and that'll be posted on Sunday. So the idea there is Amazon has a whole bunch of tools, tool tint kits that you can buy. So which ones are actually decent? Because yeah, you can absolutely tint a car with tools from Amazon, but like what should you use? That's what we're going to be figuring out. It sounds good. I don't completely have the video idea planned out in my head, but it sounds cool. So I hope it turns out nice. It's one of those things where I'm like, maybe there's not as much to it as I thought. But we'll find out. So this is why I generally don't wet shrink, because there's so much water in the way and then it just kind of sits here. And then it makes it harder to shrink. But it's also one of those windows that isn't completely, like, it's not super curved, so you can still wet shrink it, like a door window. It's just got a little bit more curve than I'd like it to. So we'll cut it and then we'll touch up those edges a little bit. I didn't see that Vios and the giant text happening. Oh, I didn't catch the other message, so it's all good. Yeah, that, it's fun. So I want to try and get a little bit of this out, but I don't want to crease it either. That'll help shrink it a little bit more. Knowing the right tools and process are what matters to me. I don't mind paying a pro for anything, but I love to learn and do it by myself. Yeah, that's cool. A lot of people do. It's one of those things where it's like a pro can make it look and seem easy. And if you know enough, you can usually get a couple of windows done. But generally, like for a full car, you're going to be scrapping a fair amount of film trying to get it done properly the first time. So it's like got this healthy like DIY hobbyist. And then you can learn to do it for like friends and family. But if you just want a nice, solid, clean job and you don't want to go through the hassle of like learning what to buy or everything, it's great to take it to somebody that knows what they're doing. There we go. That's a little better. So now this windshield is actually dry. So we're gonna prep that and probably install it. Did I use a dryer sheet? No. No, I wet shrunk this. So this window kind of looks reasonably flat to me, and the more I was squeegeeing it out, the more like curved it was getting. So, or the more like big old fingers I had at the edges. So it was it's just one of those things where you can wet shrink something like this, but it's just, you see it starts getting a little messy looking. It's better to dry shrink bigger windows and stuff, but on a sunroof, it's kind of either or. Is the entire car ceramic, and is it bad for the sunroof? Well, I certainly hope that it's not bad for the sunroof, because we are doing it in ceramic. So if it is bad for the sunroof, I'd be putting a lot of liability on the line for no good reason. So I've got it on my car, and I've done it on others, and I love driving around with it. It's great. If you love driving with your shade open, get the sunroof. Because factory tint is no more, in most cases, no more than dyed glass. Mercedes and some other companies will sometimes put something into the windshield or the doors and the back window. Like sometimes they'll do stuff to them, but it's definitely like one of those higher end options. And I even mentioned that to this guy, and he said it's a special request thing, so this one doesn't have it. So that's why he's getting it everywhere. He said he drives with a sunroof all the time. With a sunroof, like the shade open. He would like to drive with it more. But it just gets too hot. In a Mercedes. In a car with good air conditioning. Go figure. See, that's how it works. Like, there's that perfect time of day and, like, late evening where it's, like, no problem to keep it open. But more often than not during the day, it's just too much. So we got that. Should we do the windshield first and then do the sunroof? Not looking forward to doing the sunroof. Out of all the windows, I think I'd rather do the windshield right now. And then we'll get back to the sunroof towards the end. Where is my towel? Oh, there it is. So we're still using this puppy here. It's slowly falling apart, letting me down. But like I said, when I first reviewed it, I like it. But I wouldn't spend money on this. So until it breaks down to an unusable state, I still like to use this thing for right now. Why does the windshield need to be dry before you start? It's a good question. So when you're dry shrinking, I mean, that's where it comes from. That's where the name comes from. Like, whatever medium that you put on the glass, you need it to be dry. So you want it to be dry because if it's wet or tacky, it causes the film to stick to it really hard, and then it'll screw up your shrink. And then this guy. So wet to wet and dry to dry. Yes. Yeah, but most, like, if you don't know how to shrink, learn how to dry shrink. It's in my opinion way more efficient and way more consistent. See, this is where it's hard to beat like a towel like this, because you got these like wraparound sides, everything's covered, and like this is big enough to like go over the steering wheel. I really like this idea a lot. I just need them to fix it. Do you ever get business from Instagram? We've had a couple. Instagram, maybe if you advertise a lot more on Instagram, we were keeping it busy with a post a day. And I tell you, it was like, it was generally a pretty wasted effort. I mean, that's what it felt like. Like, we didn't have hardly, like, we didn't really have leads. We were keeping it busy. We were just doing a bunch of stuff. And it just, there wasn't anybody ever, like, getting pulled off of it. So some people, I'm sure, run a very good Instagram, and it's like, you just got to kind of keep them moving. But it's like where we were at the time, it just, we were better focused in other places. So if you're kind of just stretched a little thin, then it's a hard platform to just start on. Instagram is very like low impact too. So I kind of just like, way to best describe that is you're, you know, everything's quick on Instagram, just like it is on TikTok. Everything's quick, everything's fast paced, like scrolling, not much like, not spending much time on any one particular thing, and it's really hard to have any type of strong impact there. So like YouTube, people sit and chill for like 3 to 5 to 10 minutes on a YouTube video, sometimes longer if it's like just good, interesting, long format stuff. So the like longer you go, the narrower your audience. But when it counts for you, it really counts. So one of the really fun parts about live streaming is like live streaming is pretty niche. I mean, it does like one of the least amount of views on anything that I do on this channel. But I do it more than anything. One, because it's fun. And two, it's actually been pretty healthy for marketing. So when I'm streaming and a customer knows that I'm streaming, some of them share it with their friends and family. They're like, look, my car's being tinted. That's super cool. And it was just like, sometimes it's, actually a lot of the time, especially in the beginning, it's not something anybody expected. So they're just like, wait, what? You're going to stream it? What does that even mean? Oh, damn. He's just doing my whole car on the internet. Look, people are watching. Like, that's cool, right? This is very different. At least I thought it was cool. I don't know. I was hoping other people thought it was cool, too. So it doesn't do a ton of views, but the views that it does are pretty impactful. So it's good to have a healthy amount of both. So with Instagram, it was just like, ugh, everything's just so like, I spend too much time trying to like think of a text for a post and like, and then you get a handful of likes on it, and I got tired of it. I'm a weirdo that performs long form. Me too. I loved watching a lot of live streams on Twitch. So there's, he doesn't stream very much anymore, but Devin was one of the streamers I would watch. Ludwig was pretty interesting to follow. And then like Sushi Dragon and a handful of others. That was, those were all really cool people to follow. They brought something very interesting to the platform, and it's great because when you find something that's long form, it's like a TV channel. You can just like leave it on, and you don't have to keep trying to find like short video after short video after short video. I listen to them like a podcast. I live stream 3D prints from time to time. Oh, that's cool. I was wondering if you could 3D print like a tint tool. I know you could do like the plastic handles and stuff like that, but oh God, boys, what's wrong with me today? Wow, oh, I am in a different universe. Did we really not do this windshield yet? I thought we were prepping it to install it. I didn't shrink it? Oh, God. Oh, God. You guys had me so wrapped up in the conversation, I totally spaced out and was like ready to install a windshield and I didn't have it. What is wrong with me today? What a stream to mess up. All right, we're gonna do the sunroof. I shrunk the sunroof, I pulled the sunroof, I cleaned the inside of the windshield, and then I didn't have a pattern. That's what happened. Good Lord. All right, so we're gonna throw a towel in here, we're gonna install the sunroof while that dries. And then we have a pretty cleaned windshield, so that'll be pretty quick. I just expected to reverse roll my windshield now, and I didn't have it. Oh, God. Where's my... There it is. So we got a couple of towels we're going to throw in here, too. Bots. Dang, that's no fun. So we're gonna put that in timeout. The bot. Do you have or need a mod? We might have to appoint somebody to be a temporary mod. I haven't given anybody long-term mod powers yet. All right, so let's cover that one up. I think I have, like, I think I've made a mod before. But sometimes it's been like, I don't know. It's difficult. Because you don't want somebody to, like, go whipping in your channel and, like, slapping down the ban hammer on everybody. You kind of don't, you don't want a mod to really even appear like a mod. You just kind of want them to, like, hang in the background and just, like, touch up things as you go. So that's why, like, I haven't needed to think about it that much. It's been very, like, low-key stuff. We generally sit around, like, 100 people, and it's been pretty, like, everybody's nice, and it's been good. But we'll probably be looking for something here soon. I think when you, like, you're always going to have that spam problem. But for the most part, it depends on, like, how you start out your community. I think that kind of goes hand in hand with your business, too. Sorry if this gets a little fuzzy, but I'm literally making it rain on myself. Lol. That's the thing about sunroofs. You just sitting in water. But keep it all covered. Keep a towel there, and you'll be pretty good. Yeah! Stop it. I don't need it. All right. Ding, ding, ding. Maybe that'll help. I just opened this weekend and just started on a Volkswagen Polo. Congrats, that's awesome. I like that people are calling them studios now. That wasn't a thing. How long have you been tinting? I've been tinting for 13 years now. 13 years, like, in the summertime. I think we're gonna start on 14 here. I've been doing YouTube since 2011. Off and on a lot. So my channel's been around for a long time, but I've been very inconsistent with it for years. It wasn't until much later on that I really developed some type of a focus. And then I was all over the place with like different things to do. I was like, I could do these types of videos. I could do this. I could do that. And then I would never really take the time to focus on any one particular thing. And so I don't think YouTube really knew how to even categorize me. It was just kind of like, oh, we don't know what he's going to put out next. But over this past year and a half, really, when I started live streaming, that's where I really found some type of focus, and I was much happier with it. I can just live stream any car that I tint. It's more fun. Just way more fun. And from there, I grew into this space, and from there, I like actually had some more time, and I'm like, you know what? I should shoot a video again. I finally have the time to do it. And so I did. And then the videos started doing, the recent videos started doing well. So now it's like, oh wow, now I have the opportunity to schedule time for that. And so now we're doing that. Wow, this thing was awkward to put in. Some mods would go crazy and ban everybody. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like they just get a big head, like some people do. They get like a little bit of attention and then they get a big head, and then it just like, dude, you're a mod, it's not a big deal. So I'm really protective of the overall like community. So, you know, I have no problem with somebody coming here asking the same questions that I've answered 1,000 times, because like there's new people all the time. That's just how this works. So I know there's definitely people that are watching that understand that. I just wasn't sure who to pick yet. But man, I would love to get to the point where I could have ban appeals. I watched that on a couple different people's channels. That was so funny. Ban appeals is like one of the best things. They make people fill out literally a form. And then like, why do you think we should unban you? Why were you banned? We'll go back through, we'll check it out, and we'll let chat make a decision. Oh, that was so funny. Sweet. So you guys like staring into a white void this whole time? Especially when you get into the it's funny to sit in some of the I don't know, the gamer type communities and stuff, because they're just like way different than this. People are generally really respectful and well thought out comments, and then all of a sudden you jump into some of those and it's keck W's and just absolutely craziness. All right, so we got a little bit there left. Wow. We'll do the back one, and then we'll do the front windshield. So we're going to do this one wet again, because, I mean, this is an even smaller piece, so if you did it on the first one, you can definitely do it on the back one. So let's get this up here. Oh, come on. Do I have my knife? Oh. Oh, no. Well, this is an interesting one to be in. We're just gonna cut that out. Where's my knife? That must have fallen when I did the that sunroof there. That's always fun. All right, well, we gotta track down 2 knives. There they are. Sweet. $15-day update on the eBay film. Would like to have my wife's car done, assuming it's not hot trash. It's unfortunately hot trash. Because when it gets hot outside, it goes clear. So it's literally hot garbage. It still does the heat rejection. Like it feels nice. But if you leave it outside in a parking lot, you no longer have that shade. When you do the installations, why do both the inside and outside? So all the prep work, all the cutting and the shrinking, that happens on the outside because it just has the most amount of room. And then we peel it like a sticker, and then we put it on the inside. Wow, would have been nice to take like a shorter roll and put it widthwise, but rather than trying to shrink all the way this way, it's much smarter to do it that way. I just don't have that short of a roll in this film. Usually only carry 70 in a longer roll. So most people just do it on windshields. And sunroofs, like bigger pieces like that, made a lot of sense. This piece, not quite as much. But if we want to save a little bit of film, we can do it this way. What camera's on your head? So I use the Hero 8 Black, but it's kind of super geeked out. So I have it wireless HDMI transmitter. So the GoPro is plugged into a wireless HDMI transmitter. GoPro is in a media mod, and then I need an external battery to kind of power all that too for long enough, or else it would die in an hour. So I hooked it up to a Hollyland 400S Pro. It's about the smallest consistent wireless HDMI transmitter I could find. So the headset rig is like $1,000. But it's cool because I do jobs like this, so it gets paid for. How do you not crease the film as much? Practice? Really, a lot of this is just the feel of it. You just get used to the way things look, practice. Oh, come on. There we go. Do you ever think about the afterlife? We don't get into politics or religion here. Those are hot topics that'll just flame up a chat real quick. We keep it mostly to window tinting. We'll talk about some other, usually car or business related things. That's where most of this is. There we go.
Mental Carries super chatted $1.
Mental carries with $1. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Okay, so the right way to do this would be, like I said, do the entire windshield and then do the sunroof, or do the sunroof and then the windshield. But doing like that panel, putting the seats forward, doing that, and then moving the seats back, we got a little confused. So now we're moving the seats forward, and then when we go to do the windshield, we got to move them back. It's a time waster. Good thing is we have plenty of time, but it's not a good way to do it. Thank you for keeping it topical. Absolutely. Thank you for the super. How do you keep the film from sticking so fast when you're applying it to the window? Usually more soap. So it helps to be in like a little bit of a cooler climate, but colder water and more soap. Those are the two things that'll help out. So with this film, it's a very tacky film. I'll use extra soap, and I mix Dawn and baby shampoo together, and that helps a lot. We had some issues with that a lot last year that we kind of sorted through, because whenever you're using like a different film, that's when you'll really run into its weird little quirks. How much do you charge for a sedan? So it depends on how much you want to do. Most people just want to do the sides of the back, or they add the full windshield. I suppose we should just put this along here. It doesn't really make sense to throw it over that seat. This doesn't come quite as far back as what I thought it did. Okay, so we'll scrub this, and we'll get this installed. Hey!
James G super chatted $10. You wasn't lying about the K5 passenger side. I did perfect, but driver side took me 3 tries on the quarter windows. Had to watch your video and remembered I had to cut it just right.
James G, absolutely. Thank you so much. Funny you say that too. I had the same issue. There was one I did, like that's how I kind of really learned it. So I did them on stream a little bit, and then I did one off stream, and I was more sloppy about my cuts, and I had to redo it a few times. I don't remember if it was the drivers or the passengers, but regardless, like, yeah, getting those cuts just right, they'll go really easy. If your cuts aren't quite right, you're just creating a lot of problems for yourself. Thank you for that. Thank you for the 10. That's a big one. Oh, sunroofs. Why you do this? So this one we can just, smaller piece, much easier just to do this with. Peel it straight off, take it in. And then do your best on all the roof on the headliner. Because it kind of like, it does a swoop, so it kind of gets in the way as you're trying to tuck it in. So just do as best you can to not scrape it across if you have one of these. But other than that, you got a lot of room. You got a lot of room on the inside. What percent? This is 70. 70 over the 20 on the sunroof, and then 70 over the windshield, and then 50 on everything else. Sweet. There we go. Easy enough. We gotta touch a couple little things up with a heat gun. The water just kind of like sits. It doesn't really like drain out the sides very much. It just kind of like sticks to the top and just hangs there. So water will start to pool along those edges, and you can just take a heat gun, dry them out a little bit. That'll help. The K5s though, going back to that super, there's gonna be a lot of those. There already is, but that gives me like Fusion. That gives me Fusion vibes. Like Fusions for me, Fusions, Chargers, 300s, those are some of those most popular cars that we would get. K5s look like they're right in that same ballpark, where enough people are getting them, and they definitely, the people that get them, more often than not, want them tinted. Just hits that right demo. So you're probably gonna see a lot of those. Is 70 on top of 20 better than removing the old tint and going with 90? So this is factory dyed, so you're not going to be able to remove the tint. It's just literally colored out of the factory. So it's never going to be any different. Plus, yeah, the higher the number, the lighter it is. So really, he wants to keep a very 20% factory look. 70% is just the lightest that I have in ceramic right now. See, now we gotta wait for the seats to go back. And then we'll shrink and install this windshield. It's cool that we made it this far. If a sunroof, like sunroofs have the most annoying cutouts for me, because they're already factory tinted and they're at really weird, like you have to get on top of the car to kind of see some of those cuts, right? Just for the heat? Yes. Yes, most of this tint job, he's got like a very, like look, the sides are already tinted on this. This guy is going for a very clear, light look, and all about heat rejection. That's what's so cool about ceramic. Some people, they'll spend a lot of money on tint, but they have different priorities from a lot of other people. So it varies. Can you layer tints? For sure. So it's generally recommended to remove the existing tint and re-tint it. So a shop's not going to want to take on the liability of whatever film you have underneath. That's why most people will like double layer, is like they went somewhere, they got it tinted, now they want to go darker, or they bought the car with tint on it and they want to go darker. So removals can be really expensive because there's lots of glue, lots of cleaning, and it's really time consuming. You can tint a couple cars in the time it takes you to do one removal. So they can get pretty expensive. The Porsche GT4 me and Patrick did was 70 all around. He wanted to look like a fishbowl. Some people dig the fishbowl. The higher end cars or jobs, generally those so there's a ton that just want a darker look. But usually if somebody wants a light look, it's somebody that's spending a lot more money on film. That's just usually how it goes. They're like, nah, I don't want to be unseen. I don't need it for privacy so much. I want a more comfortable driving experience. That's what they're going for. Just watch your eBay video. Do you like it? Unfortunately, no. I should have had a follow-up later on, but I was too antsy to get that video up. So it did do what it claimed to do. In direct sunlight, it darkened all the way up to 20%. It looked very purple, which I already kind of talked about in the video. Like, it wasn't super offensive, but the darker it gets, the more colorful it is. So it goes from like kind of purple to like super purple. So I took some pictures that I can post. But the weirdest quirk was every time I left it out in the heat, it would go clear. I didn't notice it right away, but I was just like, huh, it looks kind of light. That's weird. And then eventually I'm like, I put 2 and 2 together. Whenever I leave it outside of my shop in the sun, it goes clear. Same thing for at home. It's just no good. All right, so what is this? So this is 70. I only have one Ferrari that wanted 5. Funny how that works. Was that the factory blue strip? No, that can't be removed. Factory tint in any way can't be removed. So it's literally coloring in the glass. Yeah, it can't be. So if you have a window with it, like you can definitely do like a windshield strip over it, and it'll make it look less blue from the outside. You'll still see it a little bit on the inside, but you can definitely take some of it away. Like you can kind of just blend it in if you like a windshield strip. Which do you prefer, Benz or Beamer? That's a good question. Because they both have their, like, in the tint world, they both have their annoyances. They're pretty close though. It's a toss-up because I would much rather have a Mercedes like this than some of the BMWs that I tint. But that definitely goes opposite with some Mercedes that I've tinted. There's some coupe Mercedes that just have some of the weirdest back roll-down quarter windows that I've ever seen with no real good way to tint them unless you're taking like the whole panel apart. Trying to contact you for local work on one of my vehicles? Yeah, give us a call. Give us a call. Emails are usually pretty good, but if you go to the website too, DetroitTintStudio.com, fill out a quote form. That's one of the best ways to contact us too. But we always get to the phones. Oh God, my ears.
Alligator window tint super
Canon.
chatted $9.99. People affectionately say factory tint because it's easier to say. It's technically called privacy glass. Explaining this to clients will make them want to tiny over it for UV or heat protection.
People affectionately say factory tint because it's easier to say. That's true. It's technically called privacy glass. I might use that. Buddy. Might just yoink that. Thank you for the 10, which I know you said that, so everybody would yoink it anyways. But thank you so much for the 10. Yeah, that's so those little distinctions are really important too. Yeah, factory tint makes it sound like tint, but yeah, privacy glass. So those little differences that kind of just key in that it's not the same. It's very, can be really important.
Mental Carries super chatted $5. What do you recommend for TX Sun for some serious heat rejection? My ridgeline sides have decent factory tint, but the rest make it like an oven.
I gotta turn up my my earpiece a little bit. Thank you for that super. What do you recommend for Texas Sun that has some serious heat rejection? My ridgeline have Sun done with factory tint, but the rest make it look even. So a lot of companies. So I mean, I use GeoShield. So you can find GeoShield dealers down in Texas. But there's going to be a lot of good companies down in Texas that carry good ceramic films across the board. So like Alligator, he uses Expel. He's not in Texas, he's in Florida. I know Texas Tint Masters, they have a YouTube channel. They'd be interesting to go to. They're out of Houston. They have a lot of Tesla and lately silly videos. But yeah, so really you're gonna want to look for a ceramic in any major film brand. So, but a good way to find it is just finding a company that seems like they have like a decent review presence and like they care about what they're doing. Any one of those shops, they're stupid to not carry ceramic. They'll definitely have it. So, is Wincoast good ceramic tint? I've never used it, so I can't speak on it. I heard good things about it though. It's just not as popular. So like some of the more major brands, Expel, Solar Effects, Lumar, Geo, Suntech, Solar Guard, and I know there's like some other ones that I'm missing out of there for sure, so chat will probably follow up with some of them. Keep an eye out for any of those, but like they're so common to find at like at different shops. You'll be able to find something. The chat bot is back. Oh no. I have. It comes back in different forms. Is there a way to get Geo direct to consumer? You can order like rolls. There is a site, tintzoom.com, that will sell kits. They have a partnership with Geo. They'll do pre-cut kits or they'll do bulk rolls. So yeah, you could get it through TintZoom. They have pretty solid kits from what I understand. They're kind of freaks about software, so they have like 4 different softwares that they use. But Geo is, unless you're ordering like enough of it, like, so you don't have to order like 100 rolls of it or anything like that or have a big buy-in, but it's going to be more than 1 car's worth of Geo unless you order through something like that. Wouldn't it be darker to tint a privacy window? Yes. Yeah, so when you tint privacy glass, haha, look at what we're calling it now. I'm going to forget in the next stream. So when you tint over it, yeah, you only make it darker. So there's a lot of people that don't. But yeah, like Gator said, there's no UV protection on it. It's literally just colored glass. So unless it's laminated, there's no UV protection. It's just a different color. So what you put over it is only going to make it darker. So a lot of people like that shade, but if you have kids, go on road trips, you want the magic of ceramic, then you got to add something to it. You got to layer over it. So there's no way to remove it. It'll just stay, and then you put the ceramic layer over it. It's just like regular glass, just colored. So privacy glass, actually a really smart thing to do, I saw this a long time ago, is taking an actual tinted piece of glass, like a factory privacy tinted piece of glass, and keeping that up there with your heat display. And then you would have it right up there to better explain it along with your demo. Might be a little bulky depending on the one you get though. How much would a Colorado typically be to tint? So it depends on the film that you go with. And it depends on, I can't give blanket pricing across the country because it varies so much. Like, you could find somebody in my area that would tint it for like $150. I'll start on all the sides and the back right now for $240. But it's pretty common for me to do my carbon in like 320, add a full windshield. It starts getting up there pretty quick, so you'll be at like 580 in carbon with the full windshield. So it ranges. It depends on what you want to do. Depends on if you want baller heat rejection or not. Do you think there's a way to make use out of that black magic, or do you think it was a complete waste? Man, I'm going to tell you, that is probably the greatest ceramic tint commercial I could have ever made for my business. Like, it was far from a waste. So in terms of just sheer material, the rest of it's sitting right there. I hung it back up because, look, it looks like a store shelf. It's cool. I still have it. But man, I was so proud of the explanation in that video on ceramic and why you want to go with like if you're going to go with ceramic, you don't want to cheap out on ceramic. It's hazy. It makes your windows look like milk. So, like, man, I just trying to explain that. Trying to explain that in a non-boring way is really difficult. So that video, oh, I'm so proud of that video. That was such a, oh, I love that video. It's silly, but man, it's clear. It's so clear the difference between cheaping out on it and getting something better. And there's levels in between. There's like some that are still more expensive that'll have a haze. So what I like to install is something that has virtually no haze to it. I don't want haze on my carbon or ceramic films. So that was a hard, long problem. The technology's been around for a little while now, and it's gotten better. So they've made it economical, but in a really bad way. So it just doesn't look clear. So you're better off, if you just want tint, and you don't really care about like a good tint, just get dyed. Just get a nice dyed film. You're not going to get heat rejection, but you are going to get a very clear looking film. It's going to look, you're going to be able to see through it no problem. Now, the problem with cheaping out on film is how long is it going to last? So dyed films, especially cheap dyed films, they could fade in 6 months. They could fade in a year. They might be good for as long as you have the car. You just don't know. So you don't know until you've played around with it for so long. And I've been burned a bunch of times by cheaper films. Good Lord. Where's my... Oh, there it is. I got a lot of haze with Johnson Ceramic. There were a lot of companies. I mean, especially when it was newer. It's gotten better. So it just depends on if the company's really kept up. If a company's kept up with the technology, the problem is there's reasons why some companies don't. So, Eastman Chemical Company owns Lumar and Suntech. Those are two really big brands. They are they're America's largest chemical company, I think. They dye a ton of window film. So they have Lumar and Suntech. So they worked more in dyed technologies than they do in nano, carbon, and ceramic technologies. So a lot of this came from, I think, Asia initially, and then it's come from other places now, more like India. Israel has Avery Dennison now. They used to be Haneda coatings. So it just kind of varies across the board. Different brands get their films from different places. Woo! I'm gonna try and ruin my windshield.
Mental Carries super chatted $5. Call out to operator Tony's question on the transition film.
I'm laughing at Alligator's comment. I'm here to put out videos that get me business. I'm not here to entertain. Basically. I'm not here to put out technical videos. That's very true. He puts out a lot of XPEL videos. Call out, thank you, Mental Carries. Call out to Operator Tony's question on the transition. Operator Tony's. 1 to 10 scale, what would you rate the transition film you tried out? I mean, it was a pretty solid surprise. It's hard to put a number on it, so it was a pretty solid, positive surprise in the very beginning. What I expected was that it would be hazy. It wasn't as hazy as what I thought, and maybe the color would be off, so it turned out to be like really purple. So, it's a solid no-go for me. It might have I was thinking, I'm like, maybe I could put this on the sunroof. It sounds like it'd be a pretty beneficial film. But as soon as it stops transitioning with the heat, I mean, then like, what am I using it for? Maybe in the wintertime, I'll get some more use out of it. Like, it's just pointless. 90% heat reduction. It's supposed to be tinted, but most of the time it's clear. I'm good. I wouldn't spend money on it. Like, I think, you know what would be, okay, super cool application for this. If your windows let in UV light, your house windows let in UV light, and you got a fish tank, and it's like, it hits that fish tank, and you're like, man, I just don't want the sunlight to mess with my fish tank, you put that stuff on there, and it'll darken up that fish tank, so those fish are more comfortable. It'll stay indoors. You'll be good to go. Find things like that, I guess. I don't know. All right. Let's get some of this on there. I have a little fish tank. It might actually work on that pretty well, but the fish tank's not in direct sunlight, so I don't know. Thoughts on, what was that? Thoughts on factory tinted comfort windshields, upper range? What do you mean? Generally, windshields aren't, like, they're not factory tinted. So you're welcome to put tint over them, but there'll be like the little shade bands, and that just kind of comes with some of them. I don't understand the question as much. So this is going really well. Oh, the bluish tint. So, I don't even know where the bluish tint necessarily came from. I think it was just a company made it film. Like, there was no, like, light ceramics weren't much of a thing. And then all of a sudden there was like, everybody had this like blue Air 80 or blue whatever 80, 80% or 75%. Like a lot of companies had the like very similar looking light blue films. So I think it was just like at the time, they like, to make ceramic lighter, that's just kind of what they had to do. And a nice blue, like light blue look, it's cool. I think it fits certain vehicles really well. If it's a style you're going for, then yeah, you're gonna dig it. And it would do more heat rejection than a lot of other ceramics in their lineup. It was just like this ultra ceramic at the time. Now it's more of like a standard ceramic, and they've got some ones I think that do even more heat rejection now. In that range, in like the light blue range. But yeah, I don't even know why it really came to be in the very beginning. It was just a lot of people had that Air 80 stuff. Maybe blue hue helped with rejection. It probably just was part of the characteristic of the ceramic that they were using at the time. I don't know, unless they just happened to do it. I have a hard time believing that they would do a much better ceramic and then not offer it in like a lower tint at the time, but. Could you use the eBay film in a double layer? No, because the problem is, so the way that the transition film works is from UV. So when UV light hits it, it changes. So all films block out UV light. So it would have to be the top layer, and then it's still that window. Like the way heat rejection works is the glass still gets hot. So it absorbs. There's two ways to get heat off of glass and out of your car. We would all have mirrored films if it wasn't highly illegal in most cases, and like really stand out. That's the problem with mirrored films. So you either reflect it away or you absorb it and you dissipate it. So cars, since they're like most of the films that we install are non-reflective, because you just stand out and get pulled over all the time. They gotta absorb that heat, so the glass is still gonna get hot, and then it dissipates off of it. Heat rejection is more for, believe it or not, when you're driving. If you leave your car out in the parking lot, it's gonna protect a lot of the interior, but your car is still a metal box. It'll still get hot. So the heat box demo that I have up front is a great way to illustrate it. It's a much easier thing to illustrate in person than an explanation. That's why I tell everybody, get a heat box. If you don't have one and you sell window film, get a heat box. So when you're sitting there in traffic and you got the air conditioning on blast and it's a hot day, man, so this happened to me in Texas. Took a Texas vacation. Drove around in a 4Runner with no tint on it for a little bit. This side of my face was very warm. This side of my face and my body was cool. And man, at the end of a drive, I felt like I had a headache. If I'm stuck in traffic with that, it's so weird. So when you have heat rejection and you're driving, it feels like you got shade all the time. So even with the 20% dyed, you still have heat coming into the car. With house tint, it reflects? Yes. So on houses, the windows are just sitting there all day. So if you absorb a lot of heat into them, you'll end up cracking the windows in most cases. So in those cases, you have to reflect it. So house windows, yes, they reflect a lot of heat away from the house, and then it also keeps the house cooler that way. Cars, they drive around, and the wind carries the heat off of the glass. Dang. This actually turned out really nice. I mean, of course it did. Why wouldn't it? Every time I get to the end of a windshield and I get to check it over and it looks really good, it's a good install. I'm happy with it. It's always the part of the job that you just like cross your fingers for. You do everything you can to prep it, and then you go to install it, and you just hope that it all works out. You know, I just realized I wanted to take a thumbnail with the car facing this way, but for whatever reason, I faced it this way. I usually always do windshields and they're facing that way. I don't know why the car's in reverse this time. Maybe because of the handful of ones I've had to back in lately, and I've had a couple brain farts today. Do decal stickers affect the tinting process? No, you can leave them on your car. They'll get in the way like a little bit, but unless they're like big bedazzled jewel thingies or something, you'll be totally fine. I want to try GeoShield on a windshield, only need a minimal amount. You could find it in Tint Zoom. They'll sell kits and some bulk pieces. That's like the only place I'm aware of that'll sell cut down geo in any type of an authorized form. But for the most part, it's pretty dealer exclusive. So there's not a lot you have to do to be a dealer. You just have to like make an account and buy it. But it's locked away in it's not super retail facing. It's more like there's still some separation, because professional films, some of them are like that. So it's more like if you're just picking up a more expensive film and playing with it, there's a lot of people that'll get a bad impression by like, you know, if they're new to a film and they just don't understand how to tint. So it makes more sense to take it to a shop in those cases, but I mean, they're not going to stop people entirely from getting a hold of it if they really want to get it. It's just like, you know, set up for like ordering rolls and stuff. Alrighty, so we can shut the doors. Looks like we're pretty much done on this. Just make sure everything's all touched up, but I guess we got to get the Febreze. Too bad there's not a black mirrored tint. It's got to be a little bit, but there might be a darker mirrored. Because like there's like a black chrome, which is really just like a darker shade of chrome. So it would be something more for like architectural. Architectural's got like a lot of variances, but for cars, you mostly just see black, non-reflective. So that's where the NR comes from. Because it's the most popular. It's what people are looking for. People just want to tint their cars black. Only a handful of people really want to do something crazy like chameleon. And so the more demand something gets, the more variations that they are. And colors fell out of style a long time ago. Some of the chameleon films are making like their way a little bit. But there's not a real concrete source of where to get a consistent one. Not yet. This looks good. This is probably something that you wouldn't really notice walking by. But when you know the film that got installed on this and that light shade to it, so the whole thing, so 50 and then 70. This looks good. This looks really good. So with a film like this, the point is not privacy. The point is a little bit of shade and a lot of heat rejection. So this looks really good. I'm very happy with this one. I'm happy with like every tint job that we do. But still. Turned out good. Canon. Classy look. Yep. That's more the idea with something like this. He's not looking to stick out in traffic. He just wants a nice, comfortable driving experience. That's why he got the car that he got. Oh, dang. So when I like leave my phone for a little bit, it's just like a whirlwind of notifications from business stuff, YouTube, and during that stream we gained over 100-ish subscribers too. So thank you guys for that. That means a lot. Good God, that's super cool. Good Lord, welcome to everybody too. Jesus, every time I've been refreshing over the past couple of days, to put it in perspective, like this this color shift video has done, it's up to 100,000 views. It's done 50,000 views in 48 hours. That view is blowing it up, or that video is blowing it up. 11 likes though. It's up to 73 now, actually. Thank you guys, much appreciated. So little things that you guys can do. If you like this channel, you like these live streams, liking the videos actually helps. Or at least so I'm told. I don't know. And it's free, so you can do that. And then the more you watch, the more it gets recommended too. So if you share them or something, that's always cool. Dang, 3 hours and 17. So we're a little bit over where we typically are, but we did the sunroof. So there is a fair amount of like scatteredness in there. But even with all that, we still managed to get it done in a pretty reasonable time. So we had a fair amount of work, but it all went really well. Another amazing performance. Thank you. So we're right at 5 o'clock. So this guy said he was going to be here about 5:30. So that's really cool. I'll be able to just take a little bit more time. 1 second. Let me grab a bottle of water quick. I'll hang on just for a couple minutes. The likes help the analytics or something like that. Pretty much. There's no clear-cut, perfect, like, I have no idea how much. It's just they just, I guess they do. I don't know. More interaction, stuff like that, that all helps. Man, I need some water. I was missing a bottle of water this whole time. I was running out of coffee. Usually I run on coffee on streams. Damn, we jumped to 87. Thank you. That was quick. An extra 10. We picked up an extra 10 likes on that. Good deal. So, trying to think if there's anything else that I need to talk about. But we're pretty much at the end of the stream here, so let's shout out some super chats. If you guys have any extra questions, I'm more than happy to answer them quick. But the way we usually do things is at this point, we shout out some super chats. I have a vehicle I have to deliver here soon, but I got a little bit. Do I have another job? No, I am at my closing time right now. I'm at 5. I'm done. When I finish my last job, I'm done. So then it depends on the car, next car coming in. It depends on the customer coming to pick up their vehicle, and then I'm out. No, I only stream one car at a time. I don't ever stream 2 cars in a row. I've done it before. It's okay. Believe it or not, one per day is pretty good. I can't wait for the tint god to do mine. I tried with this roll of Lexan I got at a yard sale. Are you really bringing in a car? That's cool. What is the mic you use? And the tracking thing, is that something that works with a GoPro, or is that an add-on? So the mic, these are awesome. There's a new version that's got a couple of them. Let me show you. So this is a Rode mic. A lot of YouTubers use this. This is an amazing little microphone. I clip this onto my headband, and it's got an inbuilt mic. You have the ability to plug in a lav to it if you want, but man, this thing is super solid. Love these things. The only thing that sucks is if I forget to charge it. 2 streams are great. Nah, not in one day. They're really not. I hate YouTube for this, but doing longer streams is not beneficial to this channel. And it actually wears me out a lot. So it's better, like I come in, I just chill. I have like usually one decent sized job to do. Sometimes I have a couple, and then I'll go live. Or I'll first go live and then chill with another job after the fact. So the tracking thing, those are with what are called ob spots. So I can show you that really quick. Those are fun. I probably shouldn't, but hey, here. So I don't use these very much right now, and I'm a little sad that I don't, but this is what they look like. And then once they lose you, they kind of like just do their own thing. But they have really good AI tracking in them. They're super cool little freaky webcams. They'll track you really well. So I have like 4 of them. I just don't use them a lot. Do you have any Washington affiliates? No. All I have is this place in Detroit. Rode for the win. I use a pod mic. Rode makes good stuff. I still do. I have a $900 Sennheiser wireless system. This little Rode thing for $200. I use this over that. This is smaller and more convenient, and it sounds just as good. Probably not in like a perfect audio environment, but for what I use it for on streaming, you can't tell the difference. Pretty cool. What's the name of those cameras? I'll type them out. I think they're on Amazon now too, so they're easy to find. ObSpot. They're just AI webcams, and they have super good tracking. You're not going to find any other tracking cameras quite that compare, or at least at the time when I bought them. Sennheiser is all right, but Rode is better. Sennheiser had the better wireless system at the time. This is when you either spent a lot of money on a wireless mic or you got a lav mic. So I had to spend a lot of money, and then like a year and a half to 2 years later, they came out with this Rode system for like $200, and I'm like, I bought it that day. I'm like, that is the perfect size. I need it. They're super good. We use them. Oh, yeah. Sun Distributing. They stream on Facebook. They're getting into streaming their distribution, so they're a tool distributor. So they show a lot of behind the scenes of that. I think that's super cool. There's a whole lot to this window tinting world. Like a lot of, if you really get into it, tools, films, processes, like you wouldn't think there's so much to window tinting until you really dive into it, but there is. I used to work in AV audio engineering. Oh, nice. Mic shootouts for sure. That's cool. Affiliate sounds good. I don't know, man. I don't even, like, so there's a Chicago Auto Pros. I was talking to them before, and they have one Chicago Auto Pros out of state, and they were just like, we had so many people asking, like so many customers asking, like, hey, where would you recommend us to go? I don't know how I would do that in like any sort of an affiliate manner. quality control is a really difficult thing, especially in tinting. So it's like, I don't really just want to have something where people pay money to be an affiliate, because I feel it's just like a different marketing. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll come out with something later, but nothing right now. I enjoy learning. Thank you for your content. I appreciate it. You're welcome. So it's not just another go. Oh, okay. So I can show it quick. So we'll do this. We'll shout out some super chats, and then I got to end. So this is the crazy headset rig. This is what I wear literally the whole time that we do this. So put the Rode mic up here. You have the GoPro in a media mod. So this is the GoPro 8 Black. This has live streaming capabilities. So if you want to just stream to YouTube, you can just get this. You don't have to do any of this. And it looks decent. It looks pretty good. If you want it to look like super crispy, that's where I have it hooked up to this crazy thing. So, oh wow, the battery on this just died too. So, so these are Sony LP batteries. So these are like some of the smaller ones that they have. I have 2 of these, and they just sit in a charger. And then I take this, boop, pop this in there, and it powers this guy, which this is the Hollyland HDMI, Hollyland 400 Pro S or something like that. It's a wireless HDMI transmitter. So it's made for... How's it?
78 Rios super chatted $4.99. Good job. Have nice rain day.
Have a nice rain day. Thank you for the 5, man. I always appreciate you. So this wireless HDMI is really inconsistent. So this is actually a Hollywood, like a budget Hollywood grade solution. So this is for video monitoring. This does up to 1080p 60 frames per second. So GoPro to that goes to my computer, and then that has just a regular Elgato capture card on it. So the wireless was a big problem. And then unfortunately, the GoPro only lasts for about an hour before it dies. And then, so you need an external battery pack, or else it would be super irritating. I mean, this stream went on for 3 hours, so we would be replacing it every hour. So you gotta unscrew this, you gotta take this out, take it out of the media mod, and then you can replace a battery. Like, this is the dumbest engineered thing that I've seen for a camera. Like, the media mod is super inconvenient. And these batteries, they die inside of an hour. So I'm not even recording on this. It's just on, pushing HDMI out, and it dies in an hour. So it's, when it was live streaming, it didn't use that much battery. So super sucky. So I got this this Anker battery plugged into it right now. I'd like to find some smaller one, because this could be interchangeable, but it's about the smallest one that powers it. So I don't know. All that, you got yourself a live stream. Just notice the smoke machines. Yeah, those are a more recent addition. I was just like, we used to have a balloon that went up there that would explode. So it would get bigger, it would get bigger and bigger, and eventually it would explode. It was super fun, but I have actual clients that wait up front from time to time, and there's just something about paying a decent amount for a tint job and then having an explosion back didn't... Some people get it, but I don't know. It was super fun, though. But for now, this, woo, we're going to have going all the time. They're fun. They startle me, though. They still startle me, because I'm just, like, talking, and then they go off. Sorry, I didn't pay attention. Could you show the whole setup again? Yeah, can we ban you? Just go back. Those neck muscles. It's not that bad. A lot of people say that. It kind of just balances itself out. So your forehead starts to get really warm, but for the most part, you're just, like, the weight of the GoPro and the weight of the battery together, it's kind of even, so it's not so bad. All right, so we're going to shout out some super chats finally. The explosion makes it fun. Yeah, it really was. Maybe I'll put it back and then just save it for times I know I'm not going to have clients, but there was one time it exploded literally a minute before a client walked in the door. And it was just sitting there. It was like this big. And then it just like stressed out and exploded. And like then a client walked in and I'm like, I can't have that. It's already kind of sketchy because there's this one stream where a guy, we were checking out a windshield for a strip. And then somebody tried to shoot him with fog. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no, what are we getting into? I didn't even think about it, but whatever power you give chat, they will abuse. So I got to be careful with some of you guys. All right, so big shout outs to Jose, Mental, thank you. Alligator, James, Mental. Wow, a lot of them from Mental. Thank you so much. Washington, Gator, Daniel. Thank you all for the support. I greatly appreciate it. This was a really fun stream. Sorry it was a little scattered. It was definitely a little sketchy in the beginning, but the job went really well, so I'm happy about that. Sometimes there's ones where I have a really nice groove, and sometimes I'm just scattered all over the place. But thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Greatly appreciate it. What about when trying to install the front windshield or rear windshield with a headset? I'll answer that quick and then we'll sign off. Yeah, you have to do a lot of this. So you just start hurting your neck a little bit. Not quite, but like on that Mustang I did, so there was a red Mustang I did recently. That one, I'm like, oh God. So it's not great for some situations because it's just so much on the front and the back. But it works out. We get it done. All right. So with that, I don't think the GoPro 9 needs a media mod. Oh, you know what? I'll look into that again. But I got the 9 the day it came out, and it didn't look good in this lighting. I don't know why. But I've changed the lighting a little bit. I didn't realize that, though. Thank you for that. I think they're going to come out with a 10 soon. Anyways, okay, I'll be back. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be shooting a video, and then we'll be back on Wednesday. So see you guys Wednesday. So make some money, do good, hang out in the Facebook group, and I'll see you Wednesday.